Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their court.
The fireworks are not done.
We're getting commentary on the case.
Is that correct?
All right, we're on the wrong camera right now because you guessed it. The other one's still turning on. Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome, happy Monday. Good to have you all here. Oh my goodness. This morning came early for some reason, earlier than most mornings. Here we go. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Look, we're almost there. Not sponsored by GoPro. There we are. All right. We're here now. Oh, I have a huge steaming mug full of Stephen's Gourmet Hot Cocoa. Not just any mug. This is an elusive mug. This is a Starbucks Stanley insulated mug. I think I paid $18 for it new, and I've seen it sold online for like $400. It's not worth that much, I promise, but it's very nice. Oh, that is good. And it's too hot. Oh, it's too hot too. Wow. Yes, I've got the top off because I like to guzzle it faster than a little sippy lid lets me drink it. But let's see. We have, Lily Georgieva says, today's my birthday. Last year, you still didn't sing at birthday parties, so I've been waiting for this moment all year. Lily, we're going to add you to the birthday list this morning. We have to go fast. And I'm late, so if we have to catch up on court, we will. Don't worry about that. A couple things. First of all, Selena K, I had you as the winner, but the mod deleted the chat. I don't know who's in charge of the internet. Selena, did you surrender it to someone else? I don't know who to give the internet to, and I sure don't want it. That's a fact. I don't want to be responsible for all this today of all days. Let's see. Lily, I just had your comment. And I was going to put it on screen and
Somebody
everything.
just sent me a video of roaches fighting.
Yeah?
I don't know who won.
Let's see. Where's that comment? I just barely had it. Oh, my goodness. We've got so much going on. We've got, let's see. We've got member for, this is weird. My words are all mixed up on the screen. It's not posting the way they should. Corn dog. Okay, so we need to make a birthday list. That's first and foremost. I don't know who to give the internet to. Selena K was first. Selena K, congratulations. Internet is all yours. We don't have much time to celebrate your win, if you can call it that. But we're going to dump the internet ownership on you. You know what to do. Please take care of it and keep it running for the rest of us. Once again, thanks for being first in chat. Birthdays now, we have to sing quickly because court waits for no man, and apparently it's about ready to begin. So let's see. Let's see. Bailey. Okay, can somebody get me the list because I've already forgotten. We had Lily, right? We have Lily. We have Bailey. Corn dog. Is there anyone else that's on the birthday list for today? Charlie. We have a Charlie. Put Charlie on here. Okay, we've got to sing because court is going to begin right now, so we're going to have to catch up with them.
Are we going to address
where's the buffer sound? Buffer. Me, my birthday, Bog Frog? It's Bog Frog? Bog Frog, we need to get you in green. That's what needs to happen. So it shows up beautifully. Let's see, Michelle's... there are people saying me too. Does that mean birthdays or that's happy to see you or good morning? I don't know. Say buffer. Bob. Bob, Lily, Joshua, DSN, congratulations on the 52nd wedding anniversary today. And Michelle. Michelle have birthdays? I've got Lily, Bailey, or it says Ailey. You guys, I don't know. You need, if it's your birthday, I need nobody else to talk in chat just for a minute. If it's your birthday, if it's just your birthday, say my birthday in chat. That's it. My birthday. So I can see what we've got. The gifts are flying right now as well. Let's see. Bailey. There are so many birthdays. Malaki. Oh my goodness. Happy Monday. Okay, that's not it. Happy wedding anniversary. We're going to pause that right there. I know court's beginning. We're going to catch up with them in just a second. Daffy9, welcome to the gallery. Let's see. Let's see. I'm looking for birthdays. I don't know. My birthday. Corn dog. Corn dog. Gotcha. Mike Z. Mike Z's birthday. Mike Z. We're just gonna do Mike. Is that all right? Malachi. Why did I call you Michaela? Malachi. Okay. Okay, here's who I have on the list. If I missed you, I apologize. Jayhawk Jen, birthday today. I should have started earlier. Let me give you the list. This is it. We've got Lily Bailey. Is that right? Lily Bailey. Corndog Charlie, Bob Frog, Bob, Malachi, Mike, and Jayhawk Jen. It's time to sing. I'm going to miss somebody today, and it's terrible. I apologize. Michelle. Okay, everyone, you know the rules about singing. Everyone, loud voices, blend your voices, stay together. Remember your parts, just like we practice. Oh my goodness, we've got so many people. It's going to be 2 verses. Remember, there's an interlude between the 2, okay? We're going to do Lily, Bailey, Corndog, Charlie, and Bob Frog. First time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lily, Bailey, Corndog, Charlie, and Bob Frog. Happy birthday to you. Okay, now this next verse, we're going to do Bob, Malachi, Mike, Jayhawk, Jen, and Michelle. You guys ready? Bob, Malachi, Mike, Jayhawk, Jen, and Michelle. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bob, Malachi, Mike, Jayhawk, Jen, and Michelle. Happy birthday to you. Wow. What a day to celebrate. Lots and lots of birthdays. Lots going on. Happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating today. If it's yours or a friend's or a family member's birthday, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for letting us celebrate your birthday with you, your special day. I hope you get everything you deserve and more. And with that said, I'm going to serve up some of Court because Court is happening, and we're going to jump right over to it so we can see what happens. Thank you all. Thank you, and have a happy birthday. All right, here we go. This is going to be live on that. Play. Do we have sound? We have sound. And do we have video? We have video.
Versus Franklin Tucker, 17 CF 841.
Everyone's there.
Dates here, defendants here.
I've missed so many messages.
Feels a little stuffy in here. I've been told that the AC is being worked on again. So guess it will freshen up here.
The
soon.
AC. The AC. It's like
so
10 below.
How are we doing? We ready to proceed with that deposition to perpetuate?
We are. We have a little bit of a disagreement here, I think, but not much. Judge, we have the perpetuated testimony. I guess the defendant plans on playing it. The state would just request that it be played in its entirety so that all the cross-examination that was conducted would be entered into evidence as part of that perpetuated testimony, and that the jury would see it all. That's the state's only position.
Your Honor, if I might?
Yes.
You know, look, when that perpetuated testimony was taken, it was taken with 3 different attorneys and 3 different stances with 3 different defendants. So the idea that we're going to play Seth LeVay's cross and Ana Gomez Malata's cross, which I can't imagine that's going to be any good. But okay, it was never meant to be used that way. It was meant to be used as each individual attorney takes their section. I know they didn't do it that way for Rory's trial. I can guarantee that.
Well, the way I have seen it, and again, it's usually done in a civil case, not too many criminal cases, but that each side can, like, in other words, the defense can call, or if it's the state, they can present testimony from a deposition to perpetuate. But then the other side can present cross from, it would be just like any other witness. You don't have to put it on initially, but the state can present any relevant cross, and it doesn't matter what lawyer asked the question. That doesn't matter.
That's correct, Judge. And just so the court's aware, Ana Gomez Malata's cross has a lot of information about Rory Wilson. Rory Wilson has been brought up in this trial. There's been testimony about his involvement. Seth LeVay crosses on Travis Johnson. There's been testimony from Travis Johnson in this case. So all this information that's obtained to this cross is relevant. These are not foreign people that are being in this trial that are being discussed. So
yeah, but the
state's position is what Your Honor just articulated, that it should be played in its entirety, and that's that.
Well, that's not exactly what I said. I said that Mr. Tucker can present that part of it that he wants to, correct, and the state can present, or at least offer that part of it that they want to. It's not objectionable as to what lawyer might ask the questions. If there is something content-wise that's objectionable, then that's certainly subject to a ruling. So that's what I said. I didn't say Mr. Tucker had to play the whole thing.
Your Honor, if
yes,
I might again, just again, you're talking about lawyers that were literally again in opposition that are asking this, asking these questions. Their motives for asking their questions are completely different, and the answers they're looking for or trying to get are completely different. I mean, to think that, man, okay, you're going to put Ana Gomez Malata up to represent the state. Or you're going to put her up to. I'm not going to put her up to represent me. I know that. But my understanding is the state asked their questions during the perpetuated testimony. They already asked their questions. We already asked ours. I'm not going to get a chance to ask her anymore. You guys don't get a chance to ask her anymore either. You put up the state side. You put up my side. Simple.
If that's the way it worked, it doesn't quite work that way. It doesn't matter who asked the question and what their motivation is. What matters is whether the question or the answer is admissible by virtue of what it says. It doesn't matter if it comes from...
It doesn't matter who asked the question.
Wilson's attorney, from Johnson's attorney. It matters whether it's within the scope and whether it's admissible. That's what matters.
Well, I mean, Rory Wilson isn't going to testify. Ana Gomez Malata is going to testify. I mean, none of these people are going to testify. So I'm not exactly sure how that applies.
But they're not testifying. I
would imagine it would be hearsay at that point.
It's just like if she was here and she was asked these questions, if it's within the scope and if it otherwise falls within the rules of evidence, it comes in. All I can tell you is, in my experience and knowledge, this primarily comes up in civil cases, but basically the procedures are the same. You might have, in a civil case, maybe you have 2 plaintiffs, 4 defendants. A couple of those defendants settle out. one of the remaining defendants wants to play the deposition, and the questions from one of the settled out defendants can still be presented as long as it's admissible. So that's
Your Honor, if I might, just one question, if I might, because I've had some cancellations, stuff like that today, and so time is our time is going to be. We're going to have plenty of time.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to dig into these so-called cancellations because we're not going to be wasting time like we did last week.
Your Honor, I mean, I'm not trying to waste time, but I'm also not trying to rush to get to any kind of judgment right now.
Nobody's rushing. We want to make good use of our time, and I would need to dig into these so-called cancellations. But let's talk about the business at hand.
And here's the business at hand, Your Honor. I was just going to ask if I might take a few minutes just because, I am aware that there are differences between civil and criminal procedure. If I might consult with my advisor for a second just to make sure.
Listen, I told the juries to be here at 9:15, and so that's basically. If you want 10 minutes, you can have 10 minutes, but
that'd be great. I just want to be able to ask a quick question and come back and address, Your Honor, and just make sure that. I just want to make sure for myself.
That sound the judge makes.
Yeah, well, sure, whatever you want to do. My ruling's very short.
No, I know that.
You want somebody else to tell you I'm wrong? Go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm sure, Your Honor, if I come up with a good, if I come up with a good statute or something like that, then I'm sure you would consider it.
Anyway,
Judge Jones, before you step out, sir, I think we should address. I don't believe the defendant has anything else planned for today other than this testimony, which I can't imagine this will probably be done by noon.
This is also why I needed to speak with Your Honor about a couple of the witnesses. One of them has we can talk about that.
I want to deal. I try to be as courteous to the jurors and respectful of their time, and I'm not going to keep them waiting here when I told them to be here and we have something to do. So anyway,
10 minutes, right now.
So otherwise it's ready to be played?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that would be 9:22.
Okay, so as the judge goes on break, Tucker's going to start talking to his counsel. We're going to catch up. We're like 30, I don't know, we were about a minute behind real life, but we're caught up now. The judge, the sound he makes, oh my goodness. If I ever worked in like a mortuary, and you know how sometimes a corpse can make noises just as everything settles, that groan or gurgle or something. That's what I imagine it to sound like. Sorry, talking about that first thing in the morning, but the judge is like, he's trying not to have his head explode, says Lois Cox. Wow. Yes, it's we need that sound bite. We'll see if we have to be able to have just that sound bite with nothing else over it. But yeah, the judge already has a headache. He's going to pop a few Excedrin, I think, this morning. If I were him, I would. All right. So what happened? Here's where we are, Katia. Friday, we didn't get to go over this. Let's update where you were. If you missed Friday we had Mr. Tucker. Sorry, hang on one second. There we go. We had Mr. Tucker questioning via Zoom Paula, and Paula's in the hospital. Paula's not doing very well health-wise. He questions Paula. At the end of his questioning, he asked Paula, and it took 3 attempts to ask this question. He asked Paula, "Are you on any medications?" And she says, "Yes, I'm on a bunch, including Percocet and all this other." And at that point, Tucker seemed to flip a little bit on because up until that point, he was all about her testifying via Zoom. She's got to be here. You know, she wants to do this. We need to go forward. We're going to try again. They bent over backwards to get Paula to testify. And at that point, he stops because he was basically done with his questioning. It was about time for cross. And we couldn't do cross because of the drugs. And Tucker pushed hard. He's like, "Well, I guess you can't cross, because the drugs, all this is a problem." And now they're talking about, well, let's flip back to the deposition. So Friday, the judge at the end of the day basically told the jury, disregard everything you've heard today, all the testimony, everything we've done, everything we did this morning, getting it set up, everything we did with you here, disregard all of that because we're now going to go back to the deposition. And so the argument that happened this morning is Tucker saying, I've got to play this part of the deposition, and defense saying, we'd like the rule of completeness. We want all of it played. Well, I don't think that's how the rule of completeness works, but they can choose to play all of it if that's what they want. There's not on a time limit, right? So all of it could come in if defense wants to play it that way. It doesn't matter who asks the questions, even though it's like a million other attorneys involved. It sounds like we could get a lot of other information that's not relative to this, this exact case. I think it would be interesting if you're hearing testimony that Rory was the person who did it. That would be quite interesting if that testimony came out in that interview, but I'm not sure what's going to come out there. So, Mr. Tucker, it sounds like his other witnesses were not able to be here today. That's a problem. The judge does not like delays like that. We have seen this happen before on the state side, so if Tucker's handled differently than the state, that could be an issue, like an appellate type issue, I think. But Mr. Tucker's asked for a little break to talk to his advisor, who is a lawyer who doesn't sit on the bench with him, but is there in the courtroom. And he's going to get some instruction and some clarification and understanding, and then we're going to move on. I think it's only appropriate that we right now take a little bit of break from this, as he has a break as well, that we go and visit this screen right here. And we'll just sit here on the background. You say, what is this? Why are we watching this screen? Well, this particular screen happens to be something that is quite pertinent to another trial. This happens to be the amount of money owed to the Kowalskis by J. Hatch, roughly. The calculations based off of what the judge said. The timer started at the moment that the judge entered the order, and it updates 10 times a second to try to be as precise as possible. So at any given moment, it might be off by a few cents. But we have a counter going up, and we're going to keep this going. I may actually, I think I'm going to put this up on my Top Mark Media channel with a little cleaner overlay and a big picture, and it's just going to be live streaming 24/7 on that channel. So if at any time you want to go over and watch it, I'll do it. It's not set up there yet, but I'll make it nice. I'll make it pretty. My son, I know P. Will for real. He did some work on this. Thank you very much. I apologize for the misconnection on that one. My son also built this one using his programming skills, and I'm using that one right now because I was able to make a couple changes really quickly with him on that one. So that's where we are with that. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the day as it keeps updating. YouTube doesn't like repetitive looking content. Well, it's like the U.S. debt clock, and the number is always different. So there's no repeating. It's never going down. And it also helps that we're the only person doing it, I think. So anyway.
I'm not a camel.
And that channel's not monetized either. So, they can like it or not. It's not a problem. All right. Can we make a thumbnail for the counter? We do need some backgrounds. I can take that window and slot it in wherever I want on the image. And
somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know who won.
Anyway, we need to put the background in there. It basically this is equivalent to, I think that if I watch the timer correctly, if you drove your oil tanker to the closest gas station and they were charging, I don't know, let's say $6 a gallon for gas, and you put the hose into the little hole on the oil tanker,
Don't
and you
miss
started,
the forest for
you
the
started
trees.
pumping gas and not stopping and just let it run and run forever and ever. That's about how fast J. Hatch's bill is adding up.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
About as fast as $6 an hour gas pumps, nonstop. All right. Let's see.
There's a lawsuit.
They've got some time. I mean, it's only $57,000 a day. It's not a lot in terms of J. Hatch money.
Have them send someone with more experience.
How was that counter calculated, and what was the start amount? Minxie, I could show you. Well, I think if I don't break it, let's see. What was it? It was Command Control I or something. No, 3L. Well, how do you do the inspector? Command Option. Command Shift. Option Control I. I don't remember. There's some way I'm supposed to be able to show the inspector on this.
Alex stole it as well.
Oh, maybe if I'm on the right screen. I could show you the program, but all the math's there and the rate. It's using the judge's daily rate and everything else. My son's good at math and programming, and I am not good at either. But we double-checked all the numbers. All right. Let's see.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
9% per month. Somebody said I could have sworn it was 9% per month. 9.09, I believe, is the actual rate, the exact rate. And we took the numbers out of the judge's order where he is very, very precise.
I object.
I like having this this mug full of hot chocolate at my ready, but it takes up so much space on my desk. And it's still way too hot because this mug just retains heat forever. All right. Will J. Hatch file bankruptcy? No. No, they won't. As a matter of fact, the only thing they've done in the last 2 weeks, major money-wise, is announced they're building a new hospital. So they're doing fine money-wise. This will not put them under. It'll hurt, but it won't put them under. Yeah, I'm not gonna break it. Let's see. The spam filter got yours. I think that's what happened to people for real. I'm sorry about that. I know you put some work into that, and it got lost in the space somewhere in between. All right. As we get back to court, we've got just a couple minutes left on the break, and Tucker's going to be back in court in front of the judge, deciding how much of his testimony he's going to play. The judge is going to dig into why people aren't here, because realize Tucker has the same ability to subpoena people that the state has, and if witnesses if witnesses just didn't show up, that's one thing. But it's also if they had a legitimate reason they couldn't be here, maybe the judge will be a little sympathetic to that. Especially since the date he said we wanted to be done by February 2nd in this trial, and Tucker's basically got no witnesses on day 2 of his defense. So it's it might end pretty quickly.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, we're back. Let's jump back.
So, is there any instruction that anyone would request before the evidence is deposition is played?
Again, Judge, I think just an explanation that her testimony was perpetuated. It's to be treated like any other witness, I guess, and considered as such.
We did discuss a little bit of the functioning of this. Because, we had our copy. That's all we had. The state actually requested it be broken up into 3 different sections for each individual attorney. They have the other 2 sections. That's fine. So they can still play it all on the station. But they did proper to these are going to be, original copies. They're not going to be edited at all or anything like that.
Okay. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
I mean, they're not admitted into evidence. The evidence
is the words.
Is the words. So it's not like they're a video that comes into evidence.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
One other thing, Your Honor, is that it does go off the record a few times with the court reporter, and they're aware of this, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can keep any of that out.
Well, it hasn't been trimmed down?
Any of that, I mean, normally, and again, I know you're a one-man show here, often, again, drawing on my experience, there's a videographer, and that person, when it gets to one of those points, basically mutes it out. But I understand that you don't have that capacity, at least not through some third party. So how would we prevent it from being published?
I think they're only at the end of your section, I would imagine. That's what I would imagine. I don't have their sections. I haven't actually had a chance to look at their sections.
I think if it comes up, I think we'll stop the tape and have to advance it to where it picks up again. You know,
When somebody's got that control?
well, the defendant's presenting her testimony, so he's going to have to.
I'll present this one. I'll let the state go ahead.
All right. Okay. And you don't object, Mr. Tucker, to me giving a brief instruction about what this is?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. I hope the jurors are all present.
That sing-song. Okay.
Thank you.
Good day, WA. Woohoo. 4 months. Thank you very much. Selena K. also gifted a membership. I'm missing some of these. If I missed your membership message or your gift, please accept my apology. Oh, you want the counter back. Sorry. Let me bring that back. Let's see. He told him how this normally works, so I'm going to up that by one. I think we're at 67. 67. Cheers, that's surrender. Okay. It was his homework to trim it down. He actually said he was going to do that over the weekend. I believe that's what he said. That's what I understood.
Please be seated, everyone.
Jamie, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can scroll back and find it.
Good morning, members of the jury. Nice to see you all. Thank you for being here this Monday morning. It's good to see you. It's kind of warm in here, isn't it? It's a little stuffy. Unfortunately, even though this building is relatively new, although time goes very fast.
That's a new building?
I think we've been in this building now like 14 years, something like that. The air conditioning system is linked to the old building and the clerk's office, so unfortunately that's not as new, and we seem to be having some intermittent trouble with it. I've been told by court administration
Hannah,
that
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Happy
it's
birthday,
been turned
Hannah.
back on and is functioning. So my expectation is that it should cool down to a more comfortable level here real soon. Thankfully, it's January and it's quite a bit cooler than the normal Key West weather, so it's not like it's sweltering in here. But if you feel a bit uncomfortable, that's the reason, and we're working on it. So, you know, the state rested. You know that we started with the defense case on Friday, and you know what happened there. So at this particular point in time, Mr. Tucker, do you have a witness to call?
Yes, I do. It's Paula Belmont.
All right.
A big shout out and welcome to Lori Bonnet. Lori out there
Ms.
listening right now while driving.
Is going to be
I see you, Lori.
testifying via
Welcome.
what's called a deposition to perpetuate testimony. You see it right there on the screen. It's a videotape and audio tape of her sworn testimony taken at some earlier point in time. At that particular point, she was placed under oath, sworn to tell the truth, and was asked questions by the lawyers, and so that was meant to preserve her testimony. So you are to consider it just as if she was right here sitting on the witness stand live and in person. She's under oath, she's being asked questions, and this is the method whereby her testimony is being presented to you, both through the audio and the visual. So please consider it as such. So we can proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, jury, just if anybody has any trouble hearing, if anybody has any trouble seeing, please let me know.
We have trouble hearing when he's not at the microphone. They're about to object.
Because of what happened on Friday, let you know that all is okay. Use the microphone.
Judge, I'm going to object to this.
Here's the objection.
Well, I just thought somebody, they might be concerned. That's why I said it. Anyway, obviously we're going to take it from the video at this point. And really, she's going to be sworn in as well, Your Honor, so we'll start with that part.
All right, go ahead.
It is the 20th of September 2020. The time is 10:12 a.m. We're at the Freeman Justice Center, Courtroom A, at 302 11th Street, Key West, Florida, for the purpose of taking video deposition and to perpetuate the testimony of Paula Belmont, being taken by the state in case number 2017 CF 841K. The court reporter is some of the county first asking for do you swear from the testimony you're giving in this cause to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Counsel, this is Jerry Olmar. I just want to make it very clear as to what we're doing today. We had a motion by the state to do this deposition to preserve testimony. No one objected. So the way I understand it, that the state is, if I'm saying anything that's not correct, please correct me, but the state is calling the witness, and therefore the state will do direct. We'll do one complete direct. After that, I just want to understand.
This all should have been trimmed out.
First, there will be a cross-examination by counsel for Mr. Wilson. Based on Mr. Johnson first. Okay, Mr. Johnson first. And then when he's completed, there will be redirect.
This is the basic layout of how this is going to process, how this is going to go forward. Caroline McDonald, welcome. Welcome to the gallery as a new member. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, so then the cross-examination will be conducted by Mr. Wilson's counsel, and will be
Tisha, hell y'all.
and the same thing will be Mr. Tucker, will be the final. So I just, I don't know how exactly they handle any potential objections, whether there's going to be.
This all should be trimmed out.
That may be admissible in one of the cases, but not necessarily admissible in the other case. For example, I don't know exactly what you're going to put in, but maybe here's the exception, a group issue that may apply with one.
Defense is going to object here soon.
So I would just like to say that, Mr. Tucker would reserve our right to object to any direct testimony that does not apply to Mr. Tucker. They all recognize that there are two separate trials. So, for example, with the takes the Tucker's trial, when he's on trial.
Judge, I'm going to, can we stop the tape for a minute?
Yes. Sidebar.
Mr. Johnson will be participating in that trial.
Yes.
They're going to approach. This is it's the commentary that's going on here is not appropriate for admittance into court. This is not something the jury should hear. It's not evidence. It's opinion and stuff from other lawyers. The judge is already in his praying stance. Let's see. Corey Hill, welcome to the gallery. Thank you. I see that camera in your hand. We'll have to talk, my friend. We'll have to talk. The court reporter is hating this entire case.
Let's see.
They're trying to skip ahead. So now we're going to skip too far ahead. This is not going to be the smoothest of testimony. Okay. I think Tucker has a good idea where it's supposed to start. It's interesting that they objected. The defense wanted to play all of it, but now they're saying we don't want this part, which is funny. But this part shouldn't be played. It's not. She's not even under oath yet. We assume that that's going to happen.
If that is what you're going to do,
unfortunately, the timestamp is not actually so.
Do the best you can.
No, actually, it's just.
She is very ill. Hopefully we'll be able to hear her better when they move that microphone.
Yes, ma'am. I have severe COPD.
I have severe COPD.
We're just trying to get it where the questions start, that's all. So.
Christine Boyce is, she's coming right up. Just page 26.
Why don't we run into an issue where we naturally resolve it right then? Is Judge Jones in the courthouse?
Yes, you are.
He is not present in the courtroom. I am not sure if he's in the courthouse or not.
Is Jones in the courtroom? They're asking about the judge. Okay. We have multiple lawyers in the setting where Paula is when this was recorded. This was what, back in 2020, I think. We have multiple lawyers from many different teams here during this deposition, so there will be questions from lots of different lawyers. I don't know which one is which, so I won't be able to tell you who was asking what question. And really, it doesn't really matter. It's all considered. Her answers are all evidence. Now she's getting
Just to
sworn
make you aware, it's going to be Christine Boyce from the state who's going to be asking the first questions. So it'll be the state side.
Thanks, Tucker. Appreciate that.
Can you please state your name for the court of order? How old are you?
56.
She says she's 56.
Yes, ma'am.
What medical conditions?
I have severe COPD and like 22% lung function with asthma and eczema.
Excuse me, Counsel, can we ask one with the microphone a little closer?
Is that better? This one? Better? Okay.
Karate Cat Mom, welcome to the gallery.
Say it again.
Do you have any medical conditions?
Yes, ma'am. I have severe COPD with severe emphysema, asthma, and roughly 22% lung function.
Is that one of the reasons that you're not wearing a mask today?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are these medical conditions unrelated to the reason you're testifying here today?
Can you repeat that?
Are they unrelated to the case for which you're testifying?
Why I'm here today? I'm here today because I'm not expected to be alive when trial gets here. Is that what you mean?
Okay, now do you take any medications for your medical conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
What medications do you take?
Oh my God. I take Convent, I take Albuterol, I take Albuterol and Petroleum, I take Performance, I take Valhalla, I take Pursutamide, I take Delaresp, I take blood pressure. I'm on a nebulizer 10 times a day. I think that's it.
And have you taken any of those medications today?
Yes, ma'am.
And will those medications impact your ability to recall what happened at this time?
No, I don't recall anything, no.
And do they impact your ability to testify here today?
No, ma'am.
Now, I noticed when you were testifying, you looked over to your right. Why did you look over to your right?
Just because I'm nervous, I'm looking everywhere.
Did you bring any of your medications?
Yes, ma'am. When I looked over my right, I looked to see. I'm looking at the medications in there, making sure I had everything listed for you.
Now, I understand that you may have brought your nebulizer here today. What is a nebulizer?
It's, you have a list from Liquid Medicine.
Is it breathing treatment?
Yes, yes.
And if you need to use that, please let us know.
I will.
How long have you resided in Florida, please?
Roughly 20 years. It was 1999, I think. I'm not quite sure.
Where did you reside in November of 2017?
Staten Island.
Do you recall the specific address?
5650 Laurel Avenue.
And what was your arrangement to live there?
I paid $200 a month, I believe, and we took care of the property. My friend came over and cut the grass and stuff like that.
Do you know who owned the property?
Matthew Lott.
And did you enter into that agreement to rent space there with Matthew Lott?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you describe the setup of the property?
There was, when you walked in, there was a main house trailer that Matthew resided in. There was rooms in the back that pretty much got destroyed by the hurricane. There was a little trailer on the left. And there was a double-decker roof frame, what we call the treehouse. I stayed up on the very top.
And you say at the very top, you mean the treehouse?
Yes.
So why was it called the treehouse?
I don't know. It's because it's made. I don't know. It's just called a treehouse.
Can you describe the treehouse?
It was built to treehouse code.
Three sets of stairs, but 2 actual stories. All over top of Matthew's trailer house.
Alright, so just to kind of recap, so you said there's this treehouse structure, there's a trailer, and then there's a travel trailer.
Yes, to the left.
Who lived in the travel trailer?
Ben Hansen.
And did anyone live in the trailer with Matthew behind?
Not with Matthew specifically, but behind that residence. Behind where Matthew was blocked off, and behind that there was 2 other rooms, and Anthony Clay lived in the back.
And does Anthony Clay also go by underneath?
April.
Now, specifically talking about the treehouse structure, if you were going up to the first set of stairs, can you kind of describe to us how you would walk into what the treehouse?
Okay, you went up the first set of stairs, and to your left there was a small platform room, and then you went up another set of stairs to get to a landing, and you turned the corner, and then you got upstairs to the top structure.
Where did you go up?
Up to the top structure. Yes, that's it was just open. I had a chase lounge, another chase lounge, I guess you would call it, a setup for beds. There was a roof on top, not the whole thing, just like where I slept at. It was a little roof.
What kind of roof was it?
Tarp.
And you described it as not completely enclosed, but for walls.
Nothing really. Just some blankets put over top, just to block the light out from the roadway.
Did you have a door?
No.
Did you have running water?
Pardon?
Did you have running water?
No,
No running water.
No, CPS.
What's that mean?
CPS. That's where I was going.
And where was CPS?
Right across the street.
CVS was the bathroom. Across the street. Court clerk says wait till the question's finished to answer. She's been describing the treehouse, the structure, why it was called the treehouse, which Paula doesn't know.
But may I approach your witness? I am showing you what the previously marked as case deposit A1 through 19 for identification.
Lawyers approaching the witness with pictures.
That lady here.
Yes.
They appear to be pictures of the treehouse from what I can see.
Yes, the little treehouse.
How do you recognize this?
Because that's where I lived.
How do you recognize them? That's where I lived.
Yes, ma'am.
Those photographs don't appear to be altered or anything in any way.
For the record, I have given copies of these exact exhibits deposit
The court has copies of all those exhibits.
Now, there appears to have been a sleeping bag on the first floor platform.
A sleeping bag on the first floor?
Todd, sometimes when we slept there, that's where we would sleep.
Is that Todd Quinn?
I'm sorry, yes, Todd Quinn.
And on the second floor, or the top floor where you reside, there appears to be two beds.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about those.
Roosevelt, Washington would come over a lot on the weekends, and he would sleep in the bed that's got the black and white quilt on it. No, not the bed, the chair. Lounge chair, whatever you want to call it.
And is that the bed that's located closest to opening the doorway or the stairs?
The steps, yes.
There's one bed downstairs, two beds upstairs.
Yes.
Roosevelt would come over and sleep upstairs. Todd would sleep downstairs.
Did Roosevelt Washington plan on staying with you that night?
It wasn't really specifically said.
All right. Focusing your attention on Friday, November 17th of 2017, what had you done earlier that day?
I was hanging out upstairs with my friend Roger Bucket.
That day she was hanging out
I
with
was
Roger.
in the lights, and a friend would come down and brought me a roast beef and cheese sandwich from Arby's, and basically we were just sitting around.
So let's start earlier in the day. Do you know approximately what time you woke up?
What time?
You woke up.
Oh, God, around 8 o'clock in the morning.
She woke up 8 o'clock in the morning.
How were you feeling that day?
No, well, I wasn't breathing good.
She wasn't feeling
Now,
well
the
that day.
conditions you testified about earlier, the COPD and the asthma, did you have those conditions at that time in November 2017?
Yes, but I didn't have a pulmonologist to diagnose them.
She was sick back then, but she wasn't diagnosed with the illness she has now.
Did
She hadn't been
anyone come up
diagnosed.
to visit you in the treehouse?
Yes, ma'am.
Did someone come visit you?
First.
Rory Wilson.
Rory Wilson was the first person.
Another person who I don't know who was.
Rory came in with another person.
How did you know Rory Wilson?
Because he had been at the property previously.
What did you know him as?
Detroit.
She knew Rory as Detroit, so Detroit showed up with another kid she didn't know that day.
And somewhere around noon. Sorry.
Now, for Detroit, how many times have you been there previously?
Maybe 5 or 6.
Detroit had been there 5 or 6 times before. So it was the first time for that other person.
Excuse me.
When you saw him previously, was it always at the treehouse or was it somewhere else?
I saw him one time over at CBS in line, and then one day I saw him outside of the treehouse. I don't know if that counts as the treehouse. He was outside of the property trying to get in, asking to come in.
She had seen this kid once at CVS and once outside the treehouse.
You would see him at the treehouse?
Yes, inside
Wanted
the
to come in.
property, inside of the gate.
How much total time have you spent with him prior to November 17th?
Maybe 20 minutes.
She'd spent maybe 20 minutes with this other kid prior to this date, around him.
Now, can you describe his appearance?
He's very big. Not too big a judge in size, but I would say like 6'2", maybe 225 pounds.
6'2", 225 pounds. This is Rory. Maybe she's talking about Rory. She hasn't spent much time with him.
And he's a black man.
And he's a black man. Okay, so we're talking about Rory here. Or Detroit.
I'm sorry, that's really...
He's a black man.
Did you have any conversations with him during these encounters you've had with him before?
All of the encounters.
She'd talked to him all the times she'd encountered him before.
Were you familiar with his voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you familiar with his voice? Yes.
Now, on this particular day, November 17th,
On this day, November 17th,
do you know why Detroit and his friend came to the treehouse?
In the afternoon, he looked for drugs.
Do you know why Detroit and his friend came to the treehouse? They came looking for drugs.
How do you know they were looking for drugs?
Because Detroit asked.
How do you know? Because Detroit asked.
Who did Detroit ask for drugs?
Who did Detroit ask for drugs? Me, I believe.
Back in November of 2017, did you use drugs?
Yes, ma'am.
Back then, did you use drugs? Yes, ma'am. Crack cocaine?
Have you used any that day?
No.
She hadn't used any that day.
What did you tell them?
No, to get off the property.
She told him no and to get off the property.
Do you recall what he was wearing?
Yes, he was wearing this thing. He was wearing a dark sweatshirt.
He was wearing a charcoal sweatshirt, shorts.
And these like dark black shoe things. They were like boot material, but not high boots. They were shoes.
They were like weird boot shoes.
On November 17th, how long did you spend with Detroit that day?
In the daytime or nighttime?
In the daytime.
2 minutes.
She was with him he was there for about 2 minutes during the daytime.
Now, due to COVID-19 safety precautions, some individuals were located here in the courtroom, and some are appearing remotely via Zoom. Do you see the individual that you know as Detroit?
Yes, ma'am.
Detroit is...
Do you see him here in person or appearing remotely?
He's appearing remotely.
Zoom. Detroit is appearing via Zoom.
What he is wearing?
All I can see is his blue mask.
All I can see is...
Nothing else.
Is there anyone else in the same frame?
Yeah, but we're 80. I'm sorry, I'm in the rain.
All right. And in the record reflect that the witness has identified Defendant Rory Wilson as appearing via Zoom at this time.
She identified Rory successfully. It's noted in the record.
After Rory Wilson had left in the morning, did you have any encounters with anyone else during the afternoon?
First, Lee Lauder and Matthew, they come up the stairs.
So hard to hear.
Todd Quinn. My friend Link from Valley Heights. Can you repeat that name? Link, that's his actual name, Link. L-I-N-K.
So let's talk about each set of individuals time to time. We talked about Crystal and Matt. Who were they and when did you see them?
Matthew's Matthew Bonnet.
To see April, and said she wanted to see me, and she was never one of my friends, and Matthew brought her upstairs.
Crystal is April.
Do you know approximately when that was?
It was early, I think around 10 o'clock.
So before Rory Wilson?
Yes.
Now you mentioned Tyler Quinn.
That was the afternoon.
Do you know or recall if he had stayed there the night before?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
And as far as that afternoon, in what context did you see him?
I was trying to put the door up in the stairway.
This is so hard to hear, guys.
Now, you previously testified that you lived in the treehouse and the treehouse didn't have a door, so was he trying to help set up a door?
Yes.
To the treehouse?
Yes.
And was the door going to go at the first bottom of the stairs or to where you stayed?
The very bottom of the stairs.
If you can find a link to the transcript, I'll read it in real time.
And what did you do to try and put up this door?
No, he brought the door. And the door didn't fit right, so I'm still at the top of the stairs.
Was he back and forth on the property trying to figure out if it would work?
I'm not sure exactly what he did because I stayed upstairs. I know he had mentioned that he had hired someone that had releases, but I had never seen him leave, come back. I was upstairs.
You also mentioned your friend Link.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And approximately when did Link come?
Probably around 5 or 6. off the lights from the store.
Now, earlier you also mentioned that someone had brought you Arby's.
That was after me.
And who brought you
My
Arby's?
friend JD.
And that was before or after Lynch?
I believe it was after me.
And you also mentioned Roosevelt, Washington.
Yes, ma'am. He was there every weekend, pretty much.
And what did you see him doing?
Oh, he'd go upstairs and say hello to me, and then he was downstairs with Matt.
When did he come upstairs to see you?
Because he always came out to see me whenever he showed up.
At any other point in time on that day, did he come upstairs?
I don't believe so.
So just to make sure I understand chronologically as far as people, the first people you would have seen was Crystal Dick Walker and Matthew Rhymes. Then you would have seen Rory Wilson and his friends. Then you would have seen Link.
This is my friend Roger.
And JD. Now, Flynn would have been in after the day.
Yes.
What time would Roosevelt come over?
4 o'clock maybe. After he was done work.
And when did Roger come over?
Roger comes in around 2.
Roger came over at 2. Sorry, they're
What
trying
were
to
you
describe that
doing?
day.
Oh, hanging out, Roger drinks beer. He would come over every weekend to drink beer. Well, not every weekend, but every Friday.
Roger just came over there hanging out, drinking beer.
So earlier when you were talking about your friend that helped maintain their property, were you talking about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you also drinking beer?
No, I don't drink.
She was not drinking beer.
Now, at some point in time, did it grow dark and that someone else came down the stairs?
Yes, ma'am.
It grew dark and someone else came up the
What
stairs.
happened?
Well, I was laying down in the bed, and the next thing I know, I'm just gonna have to say this because I know it was Detroit. Wilson came running at me, and I couldn't figure out how he was running at me, and then jumped on top of me. He put the knife to my neck and told me, give it to me, or give me what you got, or something like that, or I'm gonna kill you.
Detroit jumped on her and said, "Give me what you got, or I'm going to kill you." Held a knife to her neck. There's another person behind him that went to Roger.
Each individual one at a time. What was the person who came after you wearing?
Dark blue black sweatshirt, shorts, blue shoe things, and a mask, which I didn't realize at first he had a mask on, because he jumped right on top of me.
She's describing what they were wearing.
Or small is this person?
How big or small was the person? Big.
Roughly around 6. So 200, 225 pounds.
255 pounds.
How did you know the person was?
I knew it wasn't just who he was.
She says, I just knew who he was. She's talking about Rory. I knew the voice.
After hearing the voice, there was no doubt in my mind. He was wearing the same clothes and we rented the house earlier.
He was wearing the same clothes that he wore earlier.
Now you said at first you didn't realize the person was wearing a mask.
Yeah, because he jumped on top of me.
Did you see any weapons?
No.
She never saw the weapons. She didn't even notice he was wearing a mask at first. That's how dark it is up there.
So the Detroit that you referred to as coming to the property earlier, is that the same person you're saying is there now?
Yes.
Now, what is your size?
5'5", anywhere from 197 pounds, depending on how my office did.
And is that an accurate
Yes.
of your height weight at that time?
She's given her size. She's 5'5", very small.
And so you said you're on the chase part of your bed, and this person comes on top of you.
Yes.
So can you describe what they were doing to you?
I had a knife digging into my neck,
You have a knife against my neck.
which I had cutting my neck already. Telling me to give me my purse, give it to me, mince or I'm going to kill you.
Said,
Every time he yelled,
give me the stuff.
He punched alongside the head. He yanked up by my hair.
Give me the stuff or I'm going to kill you. Every time I yelled, he punched. Or he
Now, you
yelled,
said you
punched.
didn't see a knife. You're saying you felt a knife.
I felt a knife.
Can you describe the knife?
It was sharp. It felt jagged, but it felt sharp.
Knife felt sharp.
Now, you described that there was a second person that had come upstairs as well.
Yes.
So she's talking about the
Can you
second person.
describe that person?
All I saw was the back of that person. He was littler, smaller, but not as wide, wearing a black hoodie. I just saw the back of him. And holding something that looked like a billy club or something.
He was holding something like a billy club. The second guy was holding something.
I only saw him from the back.
I only saw him from the
Now, you
back.
said that
He
this
was wearing a
person
black
is smaller.
hoodie.
You're saying that's in relation to
Truthfully, yes.
He wasn't as wide either.
Could you see what that second person was doing?
All I saw that second person do was I saw him from like the side of my body because I had something on top of me. Something was right on my backpack. I did my backpack. It was the only
The second person was looking in her backpack.
Do you know where or what Roger was doing during this time?
No, I didn't. Because I couldn't see past.
She couldn't see what was happening to Roger at that time. Because there was a guy on top of her.
Now, you talked about a backpack.
Yes, ma'am.
Who had the backpack?
The other person.
The other guy had the
The second person.
The second person had the
And can you
backpack,
describe
not
the
Rory.
backpack?
Black leather.
Black.
String black backpack.
String black
What
leather
did you have in your
backpack.
My keys, jewelry, perfume.
What was in the backpack? Keys, jewelry,
A little
perfume,
pink purse that had witches on it.
little pink purse.
I know there's other stuff in it, but I didn't describe that, so I don't think I can answer that. Like I know what you showed me picture-wise, but I don't remember that stuff. I know it's mine, so I don't know how to answer that question.
She says she saw a picture of what they said was in the backpack, but she didn't think it was hers. Some of the things that were in there, she doesn't think were hers. Or some of the things they said was in there, she didn't think were hers.
You can't get something like that.
She's looking at a picture of the backpack and she's identifying different contents.
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize this photograph?
Because it's my backpack.
Did you recognize the
And here's my food stamp card, yes, and here's the purse that I just described to you. Recognize that notebook. Here's the card.
And are these photographs depicting as part of what was
Yes, yes.
Is absolutely everything that's in your backpack recovered?
No.
What was not recovered?
I had a brand new bottle of Dare perfume. And I had some other items in there with my child, who was in jail at the time. We don't want to answer the question about my keys because they were recovered by somebody else, but they had them in the backpack. And it's been almost 3 years. I can't tell you what else was in it.
She can't remember everything that was in the backpack.
Probably candy.
Keys were in there. They got those from
Now,
somebody
there's
else.
what else is going on. You're getting punched in the face. There's a knife to your throat. You're getting threats. And you scream for help.
Yes, ma'am. And kick the floor, kicking the floor.
Why were you screaming for help and kicking the floor?
Because I needed help.
So she was screaming for help and kicking the floor, screaming for help.
Did anyone respond?
Yes.
Did anyone respond? Yes.
Matthew.
Matthew responded.
And Matthew was up the stairs to the treehouse.
Yes, ma'am.
And he came up the stairs to the treehouse.
Could you hear anything he was saying?
I heard him say, what are you doing here?
He said, what are you doing here?
So what's the highest or closest you got to the bear in the treehouse?
Hold on.
Jeez, hold on.
We got to the landing up top of the stairs. Or if you would have been able to turn the corner, we could have taken the 3 stairs up to my level. Since there's a landing where you turn the corner to go up, we was on that landing.
Alright, so just for the purposes of the record, there's the steps, first floor, steps, steps, and then you go to the top.
You go up the first set of stairs.
They're describing the stairs that go around to the landing. He came up to the landing.
To that landing, if you made it around the corner, you would have made it up to me.
Could you see that line?
She could see him on that landing.
What happened when he came upstairs?
He didn't make it up the stairs, he made it to the landing.
He made it to the landing.
And what happened when he made it to the landing?
There was a tussle, and I heard him fall down the stairs.
There was a tussle on the
When you were
landing.
coming up the stairs and you came to the landing, what did Troy, who was on you, do?
He was often like that every time. He was ready to go down the stairs. The same person, he'd come back up the stairs, smash Roger in the face, and knock him off. And then we were both after Matt. It's kind of fuzzy. Matt was there with Detroit back in, is what I know for sure. I'm not quite sure about the second person. The second person did not run behind that, like on the stairs. Had been to the backside of that. It was Detroit, going after Matt. And then I heard a tussle. And then down the bottom of the stairs, Roy was still up, because he kept going back and forth. And I remember the second person say, I think we killed him. And then Roy took off.
She heard the second guy say, I think we killed him. And then they took off.
So you said that when Matt came upstairs that Detroit was no longer as on top.
On top of me, yeah. He was aiming from here to, not as far as this lady, and not as far as you, away from me.
So approximately 3 or 4 feet away?
No, it doesn't matter. In the middle of me, the distance from me, we have to wait.
So at the time, Rory was not on top of
Second
her.
person at this time.
Yes?
Second person is somehow behind that. Like, you got past that second person.
You need a break? Is that what you're saying? All right. Okay.
So just make sure you're
Second person was at this end, up against the railing. On the landing.
So the second person had already gone down the stairs.
Yes, and they came back upstairs.
Alright, so the second person had gone downstairs.
Up the stairs.
Rory Wilson, Detroit, was still on the top, but not on top of you.
No, not on top of me.
And so when that thought had been between the two.
Yes, they were going back and forth, and like I said, I can't remember correctly, but Rory had been this way on the landing facing Matt.
You see what transpired in this tussle.
I saw Rory doing this towards Matt, not knowing. We were stabbing and hitting him, and then pushing him, and then I heard the tussle going down the stairs.
Now you're doing kind of like a stabbing type motion.
Stabbing or fighting. Punching, stabbing.
So you could not see them.
No.
So you just saw him do some sort of motion like that, where you're saying stabbing motion.
Yes.
So she saw Rory doing a stabbing motion.
Actually, with my left hand, I'm jumping with my right because I'm right-handed, but it's left-handed.
It was left-handed that she saw the stabbing. But she couldn't see Matt. She could only see the stabbing motions. and then pushing down the stairs.
Now, after this tussle, did Rory Wilson come back upstairs, or did they leave?
They left. We didn't see them after that.
At any point in time for this interaction, did you try to harm yourself or try to protect yourself?
At one point, I had Roger's knife in my hand. Roger had pulled it out or something. I don't know. It was all over the place. And then I just put it down. And I was too scared. I mean, I had him under the bed. I guess I should have picked that up. But no, my hand, I put my hand up against my neck to try to prevent the knife from going any further. If that's considered protecting yourself, I don't know.
So at one point she had Roger's knife.
Now, at this point in time, you realize you're going to be fired.
And that's kind of amazing. I knew that it hurt. I didn't know that I was actually sliced that much. I thought it was just true life digging in his heart.
She didn't know how bad the wound was on her neck. She knew it hurt.
Is it dark at the treehouse?
It's dark, but it's not pitch black because you have streetlights.
Was there any lights on inside the treehouse or the lamp?
No. Not that I'm aware of. Nothing. I have a lantern, but I can't say for sure whether it's on. Probably was because it normally was, but I can't say yes or no.
Was anything besides that not taken? Was anything besides the backpack taken? And was there any money in the taken?
$26, $27, something like that. And some change in a big Gucci purse. And there wasn't that back.
Did she say nothing besides the backpack was taken?
After you saw the men go downstairs,
I didn't see them go downstairs.
Didn't see them go down the stairs.
I heard them go downstairs, but I didn't see them.
and what did you hear next after that?
I heard a car, the door shut, and then I heard a car.
When you say you heard a car, what did you hear the car do?
Start up and leave.
After they left, she heard a car door shut, and then it drove away.
No.
Did based on the sound, you believe it was close by?
Yes.
Based on the sound, do you believe it was close by? Yes.
Did you call 911?
No.
Why not?
To allow to find my phone. Everything had been tussled around. My friend had called me, and that's how I found was able to put the lights, and I was able to find my telephone, and he called 911.
She didn't call 911 because she couldn't find her phone until her friend called her, and that's when she found her phone.
What friend called you?
Wesley.
Wesley was her friend that called her.
Did you ever try to turn downstairs, or did you decide to make a law enforcement?
I stayed upstairs.
She saw downstairs.
Why did you stay upstairs?
Because I was terrified. I didn't know where, if there was anybody else still there.
And did you wait for law enforcement to arrive?
Yes.
What did you do while you were waiting?
I went over the railing
railing.
I'm just trying to help. It's a wake up time for somebody to come help me.
Waiting for the officers to arrive.
When law enforcement arrived, did they ask who was involved?
When law enforcement arrived, did they ask you who was involved?
Yes, Jenna, no one did.
And did you tell her?
Yes, I did right away.
She told them right away who was involved. She said it was Detroit.
Was the ambulance called to look at you for potential injuries?
They mentioned I didn't know what it said on 911.
I hear something about 911
What
injuries.
injuries did you sustain?
A gash in my neck.
She got cut in the neck,
The side of my head beaten in,
her head beaten in,
and a gash in my hands. My left hand.
cuts on her hand.
Listening?
Did you go to the hospital by ambulance?
Yes.
Did you go to the hospital? Yes.
No.
Did you want to go to the hospital? No. Why?
I had no idea, honestly.
Because I have no idea why.
I was in
shock.
I don't know. I had no idea why I didn't want to go to the hospital.
She has no idea why she didn't go to the want to go to the hospital.
No, I went around myself to be stitched. I got the wound. I didn't want any more pain. I didn't want any more anything hurting me. As a little girl, I didn't want nothing hurting me. So they told me.
Can you just repeat the last part that you were out to?
They told me my neck and my hands. Sleep medicine, a little bit they use. Against advice. Because they wanted to stitch it, but I wouldn't allow it.
They have to turn down the audio right now because the attorneys in court, while this is playing, like today live, are talking to each other. We can hear them.
Yes. Well, my hand's not really good.
But you're not.
Yeah.
And so the fear factors, pictures, or cannot be moved, but yeah.
Yes.
Have those photographs been changed or altered in any way?
That is fixed. I'm concerned now.
Pictures look authentic, haven't been changed or altered.
Were there any injuries that you sustained that could not be seen in the photographs?
No.
These are injuries, pictures of her injuries.
Nothing I can remember. My hand, my neck, my head.
Were your fingernail scrapings collected at the hospital?
No.
She said she didn't want to get stitches at the hospital. She didn't want any more pain.
Only partially.
I've seen it, Karen.
Did you return home to the treehouse that night or did you stay somewhere else?
Did you return to the treehouse or stay somewhere else?
Returned to the treehouse to get my fingernail scrapings done. Then was taken to my girlfriend's house to stay the night.
So she returned to the treehouse, got her fingernail scrapings done, and then went to a girlfriend's house to stay the night there.
When did you return to the treehouse after your initial first night?
The next morning.
She returned the next morning. Probably early afternoon, she returned to the treehouse the next day.
Did the law enforcement get in that place?
They drove me there.
Law enforcement drove her there the next morning.
Did they ask you for more information on what happened?
Yes.
At a later date, they show you a photo lineup?
Yes.
Did they show you a photo of lineup?
And who did you identify in the photo lineup?
Detroit, Roy Wilson.
She did identify.
Any hesitation?
No, ma'am. Instant.
Who did you identify? She says Detroit, Rory Wilson. Any hesitation? No, ma'am.
I'm sure it was with Mark sticks to the teeth for identification. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Is that your accurate?
Yes, it is.
From the photo lineup?
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. It's one of the same line.
All right, and is there a subtle in your initials?
Yes, ma'am.
That indicates that that's the person who you know is correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you also provide 100%?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you provide?
Because it's 100%. It's 1,000%. It's the main bit.
One day when the swear filter is working, I'm going to describe what I think of this audio recording setup.
At a later date, do you provide more DNA law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
And was your DNA strictly involuntary?
Yes.
Now, you indicated that you had seen the second person during the they told you from the past.
Yes.
Did you ever give ongoing therapy?
No, ma'am.
Do you know whether or not they were recognized?
I personally myself don't know. No.
Now, can you describe the clothing that that person was wearing?
I already did. They had a dark hoodie on. A dark hoodie. A pullover sweatshirt hoodie. And dark pants.
Dark hoodie.
Can you see that person's skin?
No.
They're talking about the second person now. Dark hoodie, dark
At some point, did
pants.
you tell police that you thought that that second person might be black?
Yes, I told them. When they were taking me down the stairs, I believe. I had originally thought the person was black because they were wearing black.
She initially thought
The next morning and said no, that I wasn't sure.
the second person was black.
All right, so did you tell the police that you thought the person might be black because the person was wearing black?
Wearing black, yeah. Because I just associated. I don't know.
And so you never saw the person's skin?
No.
And can you give a size of that person?
Just littler than Detroit. Littler than Detroit.
The second person was littler than Detroit.
I'm starting to get it. Overwinded.
I asked for the size of the second person. Are all the events you just described occurring here in Ireland?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's the end of the direct by the state. Quick hit on a nebulizer. I think that's a nebulizer. State has no further questions.
Well, do we want to approach the bench here? Second, please.
I'm not sure why they're leaving that playing while they've approached the bench. That really should be stopped. Okay, so that was difficult to hear testimony as far as audio wise. You've got, first of all, the deposition was recorded in a courtroom that was not built for audio acoustic performance. Okay, so you have multiple microphones, probably speaker system in the courtroom, and then a separate microphone recording the speaker system in the courtroom, and then that is being played over a TV in another courtroom. And that audio from the TV is being picked up by another microphone in another courtroom, and it's just like if I don't know if you could design a worse scenario to get bad audio. The only thing I've heard possibly that could be worse is the audio in the Juan David Ortiz deposition in the police room, where it was like they built the interrogation room into like the air conditioning unit and had metal chairs on hard floors that they just scraped around constantly. It's so bad. I realized that a trained ear with a lot of Excedrin and a little bit of time on their hands could get a good deposition transcript from that, but I have neither.
Folks, we're just, again, trying to get the videotape deposition at the right point. So thank you for your patience, and just to be a moment here it continues to be published to you.
I'm pretty much perpetually trying to tune this as the situation changes. As the mics in the courtroom move, as people move in the courtroom, the audio changes, and I'm constantly adjusting. I've got a Fairlight audio mixer that I'm running filters and buffers and compressors and limiters and everything else on, trying to get you the best sound I can at all times.
Yes, approach again, okay.
Right, so they're still trying to figure out exactly how they're going to skip this. This is the off-the-record part after the first line of questioning is done. I will say that I did not hear Mr. Tucker's name brought up at all in this. Realize this is a deposition that was used in Rory's case, and so the questioning was focused on that. But let's see, the state did say they wanted the full video played. They did, but they're going to have to play it on their time, I guess. I'd like them to work it instead of let Tucker do it. That way, the jury knows who was getting what part played. Here, we're almost back for some bad audio. Buckle up, guys. Here we go.
My girlfriend's house. Just stayed in it.
When did you return?
I'm only watching the parts that are getting admitted into court for the most part, because I like to look at this as the jury does. So there's a lot of information that's on extracurricular to this that I'm not watching.
Yeah. That's a lot of times my problem. Okay. So, let's see.
So Tucker is playing the parts of this that he feels are appropriate. He can cut parts out. This is his witness, his testimony. He can only play what he wants, and then the other side gets to play what they want. Generally, those agreements are hammered out beforehand, like we saw in, say, like, you know, the Maya trial, where the two sides come together and basically highlight the parts they want, and they put the video together with all the highlighting. Some of it might be what the state wanted, some might be what the defense wants. I'm not sure how that's being done here, because Mr. Tucker's the one doing the playing, and it's not cut. This is just the whole deposition video that he's sort of clicking through, trying to find the parts. I think he's got his timestamps recorded, but there was no effort to actually edit and produce an edited copy based on those.
The time is 1:10 p.m. We are ready to
Photograph of Tucker? No, sir. We're asked about the structure of the treehouse. She doesn't know what direct means. So she gets some clarification on what means to be asked on direct. When you went back to...
That was not that day. It was about a week later when I went back because I was going to continue to live there. It was too scary. Okay, so you went back there on phone? No, I had my friend on my status. Okay. And Melissa Dennis was there. It was all done, but I don't believe I'm not sure when she showed up. Okay. And so,
this is hopeless.
All the red body landscape plates, bedroom walls, and door. Although Matthew not being there, that was different. Yes, sir. It started on the inside door and then completely around the room.
A week later, there was something there that hadn't been there before. The other thing was different was Matthew wasn't there because he had passed away. I'm not sure if she's talking about crime scene tape. There's something that went all the way around the home. Some sort of fencing or crime scene tape. I believe this is Tucker's attorney that's asking the questions at this point. It's one of the first questions that involves Tucker.
defendant when he stole the building?
No, not this.
Okay, so let's set that aside.
Okay. We just say that this morning and told her on my mind. Oh, no, I was asking her, it said woke up this morning and told her on my mind.
Okay. Just step up on the slide and say, listen to what you stole. Okay. Just look at it and tell me what's out there. When you stole the back.
Yes.
Now, it's wrong.
Yes.
Let's go back to that first one that you said didn't look when you stole that. Part of that, look what you stole. Part of it, how you stole.
This looks like the way I stole it. This is not the way I stole it.
You didn't need to go through there.
This was.
Oh, that
The
was.
small red paint. Looks red. Black. I don't know. It's red in the picture. And I don't know the color. This was not here.
This was not there.
It looks like it was painted over.
Looks like it was painted over.
Oh, should I not have done that?
So should I have not done that?
I'm sorry. You didn't tell
I'm
me.
sorry.
I was trying to show you.
So now we have evidence shown to the jury that's not evidence.
Well, then you ask me to be allowed to ask the questions and
I'm sorry.
She's apologizing for having done that. They're making objections.
you remember what did you see?
Objections. It's really spicy there in the recording.
Some of it, I want you this is going to happen. So other things, and then on the next, I'm going, you know, like things to the walls that I woke up this morning and told her all the time. That's all we can. And at one point, somewhere in there, it said it should have been power, not you. The rest was all just.
Did you ever who you were at?
I don't know for sure, no.
You don't know for sure.
No.
Did you recognize me?
No.
You were asked earlier about the crystal bank locker. And it's announced did they ever tell you that Anthony plus John? Yes, of course.
Objection hearsay.
No, not said the robbery, no.
Sorry.
No, they not it. Crystal, yes, Crystal and Melissa both had approached me prior and said April was going to have someone come up and beat me up and rob me.
Crystal and Melissa both approached me previously and said April was going to come up and beat me up. Hearsay. Obviously, objections flying on this.
And I don't care if anybody has their day off, honestly, because you guys are far enough away from me. Just pull it down.
By the way, the writing is on the wall. You didn't write any of that, did you?
No, sir, I'm reading about this little. I'm very low handwriting.
Still can't tell what's going on. This is so bad.
You testified that you never tell your family. Did you?
Honestly, I don't know.
Did you find the blood on the bed?
There was blood over my blanket, yeah.
There was blood on the bed.
Did you find a glove? Yes, there was a glove under the blanket.
Did you report that to the police?
Yes.
Did you report that to the police?
There was not
Because I watched a lot of forensic files.
It was not taken evidence.
Listen.
The glove was not taken into evidence.
Another question, which is about the robbery. It was on 2017, right?
Yes, sir.
You said, if I'm not mistaken, that prisoner that came in and jumped on you, could not get through it, you got me, you need the money, or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Saying Rory was beating on you, saying, give me the money or whatever.
First, I'm going to kill you. The left.
You sure?
Yes, because I went this way to block it, and
holding a knife against your throat with his left hand and punching with the right.
You saw him from the side.
I saw his back, but I only saw from half of my side. If I got this much in a view of him, because Rory was on top of me, but I saw the second person from the back.
Saw the second person from the back because Rory was on top of me.
You also testified that later Rory got off you, and you saw that the second man was behind Roger.
No, I was told later that the second man was on Roger.
You never saw the second man on Roger?
She never saw the second man on Roger. Saw the second man with the Billy Club, but I couldn't see Roger.
You saw the second man in the beginning where it was on top of you, you saw the there.
Not right in the beginning, but during the tussle.
She saw during the tussle.
You saw the second man again, you saw the
Just from the side of me.
She only saw him from the side.
No, he was still on me. But I'm not tussling around where I can see the back of the man from the back of the side of me.
So how many times is that the smallest man?
2.5, does that make sense?
She saw the second man 2.5 times.
One time was all I had from him. The other one, I just caught a brief glimpse as he was coming back up to go to Roger. Once again, Rory was in
He was coming back towards Roger, but Rory was in the way and he was behind.
He was smaller than Rory.
He was smaller than Rory. Much smaller?
To me, he was shorter and like skinnier framed.
To me, he was slimmer, skinnier framed. Shoulders weren't as wide. Yes. And shorter. You didn't recognize him, his body shape, anything?
At some point we heard that man say, I'm not going to
There's an objection about hearsay.
He said that you're only two strokes in your arm.
Yes. It's also like an identifying us too.
And the other person was watching.
Upstairs with me, yes.
You testified that you know it wasn't Rory that said, I think we can.
Exactly. Yes, correct.
She knows it wasn't Rory.
Were there any other voices that were there to say, I think we can?
We went at the bottom of the stairs. The bottom of the top flight of stairs.
That's the second hand.
Yes.
That's what you didn't go to the
Yes.
So you had two different times you see this person and you heard his voice.
Yes.
You testified that you were sure that the person who held the throat was Rory.
Yes. So I'm testifying to you today.
Yes.
Okay, so this man I'm testifying before, so we have a confused story. Yes. 100% sure it was Rory.
And he won't answer.
Yes. Yes.
He puts these next to him.
And so it was enough to him.
You didn't see those things about that.
She only saw the eyes of him.
So,
He wore a mask.
Yes.
and you recognize his voice.
Yes.
Really make one time say that he had a very deep voice.
He's got a very gravelly deep voice.
Says Rory has a gravelly deep voice.
You recognize that voice?
Yes.
She recognized the voice.
She testified today that he had been at the Treehouse 5-6 times in the past.
Yes.
She was hit 5 or 6 times in the face.
And you spoke to him on 5-6.
Yes.
So you recognize his voice?
Yes.
She does recognize Rory's voice.
You also described his size.
Yes.
He also described his size.
He stood with his arms out.
He's big. Big.
So it's fair to say that you not only identified his voice, but you identified his size, his stature.
I knew it wasn't things coming at me. Even in the dark.
You also had this is fair to say
oversized shape stature.
Yes.
The way he moves.
Yes.
And you also recognize the constants of the various, including these shoe-like boots.
Yeah. Yes.
Recognize the shoes, the boots.
As we saw in Treehouse earlier that day.
Yes, sir.
Same clothing he wore in the treehouse earlier that day.
Now, when he was in the Treehouse earlier that day, he was with the mask.
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever seen that man before?
No, sir.
That man was not Tucker.
No, it was not Tucker. Yes,
No, it was not Tucker. Yes, I'm very sure.
So,
I didn't introduce it, but I didn't even remember his name.
you know it.
Yes, yes.
And it's not Tucker.
No, sir.
Not Tucker.
Can you describe that man as a smaller man?
Yes.
Was he,
Well, it's kind of hard to say. He was standing down kind of roaring, but he was not as big as Detroit. But his hair, kind of heavy in a sense.
She's been very adamant the second man was not Tucker.
No facial hair.
No facial hair.
Yes.
so you got to see his face?
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't speak to him about it, did you?
The other guy?
Yeah.
No, sir.
You did not speak to him. So you didn't hear his voice
No, sir.
at that time. Right.
I can't say that I ever heard his voice.
Okay.
Like a person.
Can't hear that I ever heard his voice.
Since the time, that time, did you have the opportunity to see other things that helped you identify who these individuals might be?
Only person I ever identified was Rory.
Okay. For example, did you see,
No.
go ahead.
No, I'm getting confused. I was going to say except Tyrone, but I'm not identifying Tyrone except for you not being there. So I think I'm just kind of threw off. Sorry.
I asked you about identifying somebody.
Yes, Tyrone. Rory, yes. Detroit has your address.
You said that you did also identify the second person as not being Tyrone.
As not being Tyrone, yes.
You said that on a number of occasions.
Yes.
She specifically identified the individual as not Tyrone.
Have you made that statement on a lot of occasions?
I'm basically yes. Because I'm
They're objecting to bolstering.
Did I do this much? I don't know.
You were never able to make any correlation between anything you saw, like pictures in the newspaper, or a photo from CBS, or videos that you saw on YouTube, including art to the other man who was
Injection compound.
Did any of those things have any effect on your ability to identify
Can I ask a question? If you say object, I can still answer that? Okay.
She's asking, can they still answer if they object?
I'm not talking about a set of standards in the market. You said definitely it's not time.
Yes.
That, did you ever see all this happen as times of events? Did you ever see other things, either in the newspaper or YouTube or videos or whatever, anything, that caused you to rethink identifying who that second kid was?
I saw a picture on the video called Corruption 2.
She's asking if she's seen other things that make her.
I saw a picture on this video. It's called Corruption 2. There's a picture of a man in front of the treehouse walking that looks like the man. Looks like the same hoodie from the man that I saw upstairs.
She saw a video that looks like the second man in the video. says no on track.
Everything we've got, that affected your ability to identify the motion of the second hand. Can you go with that?
What is that speculation? To me, it sounds like a good thing, but I don't think that's the kind of answer to that.
Excuse me, Mr. Tucker, when you have a chance, can we stop this? I think we need to take a break right now.
Okay, this is rough. It sounds like she's adamant that the second man was not Tucker, but she's not. She doesn't think the second man was Travis.
Morning break. I don't like to interrupt the testimony of a witness in the middle, but it's almost 11, so I think would be a good time to take a break until 11:15. Don't need to stay in the jury room. Usual rules apply. We'll see you back at 11:15.
11:15. They get a 20-minute break here. Let's see if I tell you, Mr. Tucker on his closing, he needs to draw out and basically say what we heard in this video. Based on the hoodie, yes, she recognized the hoodie from the video that shows the guy in the hoodie walking down the street. She's like, that's the same hoodie. That looks like the same hoodie of the second guy in the video. It just looked like a generic dark hoodie to me. I don't know if there was enough unique identifying factors.
Take a break.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll pick up where we left off.
Okay. So the judge gets a break. We get a break. My ears get a break. Brief summary. Okay, this is what we're hearing. The questioning that's happening in Paula here. There's from the state's perspective, they seem to be questioning with a focus on Rory, on how she identified Rory, how she knew it was him immediately, as soon as he came upstairs, not just from his size, from the way he walks, from his voice, but also from all the clothes he was wearing, which was the same as what he wore to the treehouse during the day when it was light that same day. And he's got this second person with him. The second person, she never gets a really good look at him. She says Rory was wearing a mask. You could only see his eyes. But she doesn't describe like the demon mask. It's interesting that the mask is like hideous, but she doesn't see that. And maybe that was adrenaline. Maybe that was, something, I don't know. But she says she can only see his eyes, recognizes him, knows it's him. Previously on her live testimony, which was struck from the jury's and from the record on Friday, she testified that she almost said, Rory, why are you doing this? And she's glad she didn't say it because she thinks if he had known that she knew that it was him, he may have killed her. So there was a lot of testimony about her backpack, and the second man was opening the backpack and grabbing the backpack, looking into it, looking for stuff. Rory was demanding, give us the stuff, holding a knife to her throat with the left hand, punching with his right. And it's... why didn't he just use this on Friday? This is hard to hear. I mean, at this point, I would say that it would have been much better to have a transcription of this and have it read in court by two awful readers, and it would be better than what we have here. Will you explain why Friday's testimony was stricken from the record? I was watching, but somehow missed that part. Susie, what we had at the end of the day Friday basically was the revelation, that the defendant, the witness, Paula, was on drugs, on medications that would make it impossible to continue in the line of questioning. How's that a problem? Well, defense questioned her on direct, and now the state has the right to question her on redirect. And if the state can't cross the witness, I said redirect when I meant cross. That's a problem. They can't verify and authenticate and dig deeper and ask probing questions. And if they can't do that, they have to throw out the first testimony that was given, and they did. And they did that knowing that they could revert back to this deposition, which was taken previously. They used this in another trial. Okay, it's usable, but it's rough. It's really rough. Getting lots of messages on the burner phone. Thank you. At the time of this depo, they were prosecuting Rory. He was the big guy. The big guy. You think he can do it, Jen? I think he can. I mean, this is not difficult to summarize what this testimony is. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of objections, but the meat of Paula's testimony here is pretty straightforward, and it goes like this. I was there that day, and Rory came to the place looking for drugs. We sent him away. He came with this other guy as well that she didn't recognize. Sent him away. She thought the second guy looked like a cop, but I think she only said that on Friday. She didn't say that today. They left. Later that night, Roger had come over because he was mowing the grass, and they're come over drinking beer. She hadn't done any drugs. Roger was drinking Bud Light. She wasn't drinking. There was these two guys show up and start roughing them up. A knife was held to her throat. She was punched. She knew it was Rory right away. They're demanding the drugs, give up the stuff. They want the drugs and the money. She was yelling and kicking the floor for help because she was on the floor. She was knocked down. The commotion brought Matt up from downstairs. Matt made it up 2 of the 3 runs of stairs, the flights, I guess, because there's like a first flight landing, second landing, and then a little third step because there's like 3 different parts to get up to the top. He makes it up to the second, up the second where you get a landing, but cannot, where you can see into the treehouse, but didn't make it up to the top of the last little bit. Sees what's going on and either gets confronted or goes back downstairs. The second man, and Rory as well, it seems, goes back and forth. And they say, I think we killed him. And then they split and leave. She can't see what exactly was happening to Roger. The second guy was holding like a billy club, she says. Couldn't really describe the knife, but didn't even know she was cut. She knew it hurt, but she thought it was just from the knife being held against her throat. It felt sharp to her, very sharp, which is interesting because, Travis has very sharp knives. He's a knife, freak as far as that goes, keeping them sharp. And they leave. Roger leaves. She stays upstairs. She can't find her phone initially until a friend calls. That's when she finds the phone, calls 911. She stays up there hanging over the balcony, probably bleeding over the balcony, to wait for the cops. And the cops show up, and she gives her statement. So she has said she definitely 100% knew, every possible way she could identify, from his look, from the way he walked, from the way he talked, from the, everything but his smell. She recognized Rory. And then on the second guy, she's adamantly said, she's described him, but she only got a little look, and she said it definitely was not Tucker. She was sure it was not Tucker. There's a reason why his own attorneys told him to take a plea. I wonder what it was. So that's the testimony. A lot of the noise we're hearing is because there are so many lawyers in this room for this deposition, and everyone's objecting and arguments are going on. The witness herself, Paula, is not a trained witness, so she's not an expert witness. She's often answering the questions while they're being asked, and so there's a lot of talk over each other, which is really frustrating. It makes it even worse. And then, of course, we've got the recording of a recording of a recording going on, and all the courtroom noise between them. They keep turning the volume up. It just amplifies all the noise. So it's really, really tough to hear. And closed captioning would do no better because it can't hear either. That being said, is there alternative suspects? Lauren, Travis might be the other one. It could have just been Travis and Rory. See, some people saying I still can't get by that Tucker himself has put himself at the scene with his own statements. I talked about that a little bit on Friday. I think that's Tucker's style, where he asks a question by making a statement as if he was speaking for the other person. We saw that when he was arguing with the judge, and he said to the judge, "This trial, this court, and the police and this court, or this, Your Honor, have been fair throughout these proceedings." And that's not what he meant. He was saying, "This is your statement. This is what you think." And so I think that was just his style. It does sound bad because when you're listening, he's like, he's got these statements that make him sound like, but that's not how it happened, right? Because I remember it differently. And it doesn't come quite out and say it like that, but it's close enough that you're just like, hang on, the wording seems to implicate you more than you realize. Tucker's alibi. I haven't heard it in court. I believe, well, maybe we have. I believe we heard somebody said that he said he was in bed or he was asleep at the time this happened in the warehouse, living at the warehouse. Who does Rory say was with him? I have not heard that one, Cheryl. I don't know. I don't think Rory's going to testify. Could you go over all the suspects? Roger is not a suspect. Roger was one of the people that was with Paula at the Treehouse drinking beer. You can't see this, but my son is crawling on the floor in front of this so as to not be on camera. Do you need something? You're trying to get a book. I can just turn to this camera and you can. Now you're not on. There you go. You're not on. You can run around. Now you're on. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. The suspects I think would be Rory, Travis, who said he's just the getaway driver. And I feel something feels wrong about the way Travis's testimony, the way he turned state witness is it seems slimy. It seems wrong. Let's see. All right. Mission Impossible Little Rory. Yeah, he did it. He made it all the way across and got the book. But Rory is convicted. I believe he's doing life. Can we get a billy club in the thumbnail? I think the billy club was possibly a pipe. We've heard testimony from Travis that there was a pipe involved. We know Travis was involved, even if he was just the driver, according to his story. But it seems like it could have just been a piece of pipe. Interesting testimony. The one bit I got out of this that I hadn't heard before was that Paula said that the second man definitely had no facial hair. And I believe at the time Tucker had a fairly impressive beard or goatee. Travis was completely not believable in my opinion, says Tash. I struggled with that as well. Also, what is a billy club? Imagine a police officer in England before, I guess they still, most of them don't carry firearms for the most part, but it was their weapon of choice for a police officer in England back in the old days. It's like a short, very, it's a little, it's a mini baseball bat is what it is. It's a mini baseball bat. Pipe, not to be confused with meth pipe, which is also possibly at the scene. John, Rory's last name, I don't have it off the tip of my tongue. I believe Rory was convicted of basically all the charges they're trying to get Travis of as well. Now, they don't have to prove that Travis did the stabbing or anything. All they have to prove is that he was part of this group. If he was there, then if the other guy did the stabbing, Travis can be, if Rory did the stabbing and Travis was the second man, Travis can be charged with the same thing that Rory is charged with. That's the principal rule. You don't have to be the principal actor. If you were a participant, you're all guilty together. Even the getaway driver is guilty of the same thing. We're on a little bit of a break. We'll be back here in just a minute. The judge called a halt to it. I think we're not quite done with testimony from Paula, at least the testimony that there's more, I think, that won't be played, but hopefully we can skip some parts. Let's see. Is there no proof he was there? Taylor, the interesting thing, there is zero DNA evidence at the scene that links Travis to this, or that links Tyrone Tucker, our defendant, to the scene. They have mixed DNA swabs where they can't rule him out, but when you can't rule somebody out, you probably also can't rule out many other millions of people. It's not like they're saying, "Oh, I just can't quite tell it wasn't him." That basically means there's also some other male DNA present. We just know it's male. That's it. It could be anyone else in Key West or in the United States or the world, for that matter, could still fit that little other profile that we also can see is there. So it definitely doesn't rule him in. And by saying we can't rule him out, it just means there was something there that would have matched his DNA. So we can't rule him out or in. Can you put up a clubhouse rules sign? No murder. No murder is number one. Why wasn't Rory called by the state? I think they threw the book at him, and he does not want to. I don't think he wants to help the state out at all. Can the jury understand what she is saying? I sure hope so. It's extremely difficult for me, and I'm only getting pieces. It's even hard to understand what the lawyers are saying here. The reason why, if from a technical standpoint, in the initial building where they're doing the deposition, which is a courtroom, which has like hard walls and echo issues all over the place, they have a single microphone that's picking up room audio. So all the echoes and sound really muffles the sound, and it's picking that up. It's picking up the air conditioner and everything else that's going, all the chair noises and people murmuring, and that's on the recording. And then they take that and they turn up the volume on that and play it in court here in another courtroom then picking that up and broadcasting that sound into a courtroom with another microphone that's picking up all the courtroom audio and all the noise and the air conditioner, everything else. It's a nightmare. It's an embarrassment to the profession of audio. Audio engineers the world over are rolling over in their graves. Carolyn says, look at my question, please. Let me see what your question was. Sorry, I missed them here. Did you hear Paula say she heard them get into a car? It started up and they left. Detroit and the other guy. That throws Travis' testimony out the window, right? Yes and no. Because they've got that video. They've got the video from the boat place next door.
Call from
Mr. Wisconsin.
Ivan, how are you doing, my friend?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
it helps if I let you talk, huh? Ivan, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, how are you? How was your weekend?
It was great. It was really good.
Really?
How was yours?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the God's team, also known as the Packers, we lost by 3. It was a hard-fought game. I feel like we outplayed them the whole game, and except for the last 5 minutes. But that's football. But
hang on, the way you talked last week against the Cowboys, I thought you were saying Super Bowl, here we come. Is that not going to happen anymore?
Well, unfortunately, by rules of elimination, that is going to have to be postponed until next year. But okay. Stay tuned.
So they've got it tentatively penciled in on their schedule for next year.
Yes, sir.
Packers 2025.
But yeah. In any event, I'm wondering, do we think old Dollar Store Mike from Breaking Bad is going to take his own testimony or take his own stand here?
I don't think so, because here's why. He has a closing coming up where he can say whatever he wants. I mean, it's not testimony. He can bring in whatever he wants without the other side being able to do anything within reason. They can object, and I think they will. But he gets a free pass at the jury right before they go to deliberate. Without.
And how does it work? I guess I've never seen a pro se like all the way through, or at least not one I cared like this much about. And how are we only on day 6? I feel like this trial has lasted 2 months.
We've had half day after half day, and I think we're going to have another one here.
How does it work if a pro se defendant takes the stand? How does he cross-examine himself? Like, how does that work?
I'm trying to think when the last one we watched worked. See, didn't Darrell Brooks try a little bit? And basically the judge just lets them talk. It's officially, I mean, if you follow the rules, the witness should be responding to questions, right, instead of narrative. But the judge would allow a narrative type response, or it's basically. So
he gets to do basically like 2 closing arguments, right, or 2 closing statements, right? He can just get up there and.
If he chose to testify in his own defense, yes, but at the same time, anytime he's testifying, the state can object. They can they can shut down lines of testimony for hearsay, for all the the usual reasons that an attorney could object to. They could do during his testimony, and when it's over, they can cross him on everything and make him answer other questions, and he'd be compelled to answer the questions the state asks. And some of those questions might bring out testimony that does make him look bad. So it's a big risk that way.
I don't think there's any advantage in this case. I think, but my other question was, because we do know that he has lawyers like on deck, like helping him, like with questioning and stuff, right? Like he does have some peanut gallery like helping him. Is that right or not right?
Yes, he has an assistant, or he has counsel sort of like on standby, but they're not up there with him whispering in his ear and passing him notes. Could they question him if he took the stand? That's my question. That's what I'm saying. I think the judge has them set at a distance so they cannot actively take part. He can tell the judge, I need a brief break. We need to go back to court here. Ivan, I'm going to let you go because we're going back to court, but I'll finish your question.
All right, love you guys.
Yep. He can answer the thanks, Ivan.
Back other than the jurors, just for planning purposes.
Hang on a second.
How long do we anticipate Mr. Tucker's presentation of this witness is going to last?
Mr. Tucker can talk to the judge and say, "Judge, I need a break so I can talk to my counsel," and he's done that once today already. And then he goes back and talks to him and then comes up. It's not constant, and it sort of needs to be scheduled with the judge.
Okay, so then the state's...
Judge, I think total...
It goes from 55 to 05 to...
You're right. I think...
About 45 minutes, I think, total.
119.
I think the judge cut Darrell Brooks off on his closing statement because he kept
So the point I'm trying to
breaking the rules.
Figure is
talking about jury nullification.
This should be all finished before lunch, and I don't think so. It's 11:15 now. I don't know that it.
Judge, I think if we work them until 1 and they took a late lunch, we'll get it done. The thing is, I don't know if it makes sense to send them to lunch to bring them back for half an hour when the defendant doesn't have anything else lined up for today.
I know, but I still have to be able to, ascertain specifics about what happened and what to expect, and so I can advise the jurors. So I think I'd rather go for about an hour and lunch. So,
Your Honor, I'd actually appreciate that too, because without the AC, I'm not used to the heat, and like I said, I was starting to feel a little sick there. I don't know about the jurors, but I was definitely starting to feel a little sick.
He's not used to the heat.
I don't know. It's just, I'm not quite, being out in Portland, I'm not quite used to the heat anymore.
well, thankfully it's not that stuffy, but I agree it's not ideal. But in any event, let's figure about till we go to about 12:20, something like that. So we'll break.
So we have about an hour more of video coming.
Obviously, Your Honor, I will push through whatever we need to today. So.
Yes, please.
The judge is not very impressed with Mr. Tucker's remarks there, him being willing to push through the uncomfortableness of the court. What's the temperature right now? What's the temperature in Key West right now?
It's 71 degrees right now in Key West, Florida.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tucker. That's not miserable, unless you've got the heat just cranked in that courtroom. 71 is his room temperature.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. Welcome back, members of the jury. I hope the break was pleasant enough. We're on the record, and
they froze Paula staring at the jury like she's waiting on them.
Publication of the deposition to perpetuate the testimony of Paula Belmont. Just for your planning purposes, I figure we're going to have about, for this morning's session, about another hour of this. So break for lunch around 12:15, 12:20, something like that. So just so you kind of can plan. So in the meantime, thank you for your continued attention. So Mr. Tucker, you can...
Just to be clear, everybody can hear, everybody can see.
Yeah.
Jury's indicated they can hear and see, so that's good for them. We can't, but...
All right, yeah. Did you know Tyrone? Is that called Tyrone? How do you refer?
Pretty much I knew. And I was given his name one time, but then I didn't see him enough after that. Okay, yes. Tyrone, yeah.
Prior to...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Prior to November 17th, the day of the robbery, had you met Todd Tucker?
Yes.
Do you remember about how many times you met him or where you met him?
Probably about 5 or 6. I met him originally at Burger King.
Burger King. Okay, and how many times have you been in his house prior to that day?
Prior to meeting him at Burger King?
No, prior to the day of the robbery.
I saw him once on the street, just like a hobo. I think I saw him again at Burger King. He had been at the Treehouse one time.
So you saw him
downstairs? Yes, yeah.
Tyrone had been at Treehouse downstairs one time.
Yes.
She met at Burger King. Talked to him on the street.
Was that Ty Tucker's voice?
Was it Ty Tucker's voice that said, "I think we killed him"? No. How sure?
Tyrone has a different voice.
100% sure it was not his voice.
He's got a rough voice too, like a gravelly, like a smoker's voice.
Now, what about the body type? You said you've seen Todd on a number of occasions. What about the you've been able to learn about the man who was the second person of the robbery and his body shape and size, his demeanor compared to Todd's?
Tyrone seemed bigger than the person that I saw.
I'm sorry?
Tyrone seems bigger than the person that I saw.
Tyrone seems bigger than the person I saw.
I'm sorry?
Not as big as Rory.
Okay. Is it fair to say that the person who was the second man in the robbery did not have the same body size, style, and shape as Ty Tucker?
Correct.
Second man was not body size, shape, or size of Tyrone.
Following the robbery, did there come a time when you saw Ty Tucker shortly after the robbery?
Yes.
When was that?
I believe it was 3 or 4 days later.
Saw Tyrone 3 or 4 days after the robbery.
Not exactly sure.
Okay, but it was shortly thereafter.
Yes.
And that
Detroit had been arrested, but Tyrone hadn't.
It was what?
Detroit had been arrested, but Tyrone hadn't.
Okay, all right. And that was at the McDonald's?
Yeah, we went to McDonald's.
How did that happen? Did you accidentally meet him there?
Accidentally, yeah.
She accidentally bumped into Tyrone at McDonald's 3 or 4 days after the robbery.
Yes.
And you walk in, and did you approach him, or did he approach you?
Neither one of us approached each other, really. We just kind of was looking for a table, and I kind of said, "Hey, how are you?" And yeah.
You still at the table?
No, we went outside because I was crying.
You were crying?
Yeah. Well, because he had said that he had been pregnant.
Hearsay. Objection, hearsay.
Go ahead. He said that he had been down at the police station all night because of worry. I was like, what? Because I had no idea we all stayed in the same place or whatever that deal was. And
you were surprised to hear that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you how long were you with him at the time?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes, and you were upset.
Oh yeah.
And you were crying.
Oh, I probably got his shoulder full of snot. I was crying so hard.
And you cried on his shoulder?
Yes, I was.
Okay. So this was shortly after the robbery. While the incident was fresh.
Yes.
Observations were fresh, and
yes.
It was fresh.
Yes.
At that time, sometime, did you ever suspect or think or admit that he was the second guy?
No, sir.
Did you ever suspect or think that Ty was the second guy? She says, no, sir.
As time has progressed, have you become more or less sure that it was
to say this. For a little bit, that picture had me thinking that it was him, but I've always questioned that picture because I never believed it was Tyrone.
I never believed it was Tyrone, but for a little bit, I questioned.
Is it fair to say that you had conversations with Matt Pitcher?
Yes.
And Matt Pitcher told you that Tom was involved?
Every time I talked to Matt Pitcher and questioned Tyrone's involvement, Matt Pitcher said yes.
And when he told you Tom was involved, did you say, are you sure?
Yes, plenty of times. I've said those words, are you sure? Absolutely sure, because I just don't understand it, I don't see it.
And you said that because you didn't think he was involved?
Exactly.
But he had been arrested anyway, is that correct?
Yes.
And
not the first time that I spoke with Matt Pitcher about it.
Matt Pitcher keeps telling her that Tyrone's involved.
No, because at that point I didn't know that was Tyrone. So yes, he would have had to have been arrested. Sorry.
You had this conversation with Detective Pitcher on a number of occasions?
Yes.
How many?
Probably at least anywhere between 5 and 10.
Anywhere between 5 and 10?
Yes.
You told him that you thought that they were wrong.
Yes.
Including that Mr. Tyrone was involved.
Yes. And are you sure?
She said 5 to 10 times she told them it wasn't Tyrone. It wasn't Tyrone. Objection hearsay.
I'm sorry. I was just asking a number of questions in that area, and you didn't check the first questions in this area.
Should I answer it? Okay.
So objection moved to strike. Now she can't answer. He was in bed asleep, Jojo.
Now, you were interviewed shortly after the incident by the police, is that correct? Shortly after the incident, you were answered? That night?
And the next day.
Right.
Yes.
And then there was a time later when you participated in a deposition, May of 2019.
With Christine? No, not Christine, I'm sorry, Colleen?
Yeah, Colleen was
Oh, yes, because Colleen was Christine. Yes, it was Christine. Yes. I'm going to just spoken with Colleen, that's what I'm really confused.
At that time, have you had these conversations that you described with Detective Pitcher prior to that deposition?
Yes. Yes, because that's what I was getting into when you told me it was Tyrone. It was Tyrone.
So somebody else kept saying it was Tyrone. She kept saying no, it wasn't. She was adamant. They were also adamant that it was. She ran into him after the murder, a few days after the murder at McDonald's. Was crying on his shoulder about everything that had happened. She's remained confident it was not him.
How do you feel about these men that robbed you and did this to you? Answer no.
Detroit was I don't want to be in the same room with him. I fought for that. I don't want to look at him. I don't want to smell him. I don't have much to say about what is the company's name? Travis, because I don't know anything about him.
Is it fair to say that you were...
I don't have much to say about Travis. What's your client's name, Travis?
The individuals that did this be punished. Is that fair to say?
I really don't have hatred, but I'm disgusted, and they deserve to be punished.
Well, my question is that, is there any reason to believe that if you for a minute thought Thomas Tucker was involved, that you would lie and say that, oh, no,
says if Tyrone was involved, he can rot in hell like Tucker, like Detroit.
That's not speculation. Okay.
But if he was involved, she would say he should. But she's still adamant that he was not. Yeah, Franklin Tyrone Tucker is the defendant's name. Travis Johnson. And here comes another lady. Redirect. Or maybe second cross.
Christine? Okay. No, take me.
This would be Travis's lawyer. That coughing is happening today, live in the courtroom. I think they're setting up for a new lady to start questioning the witness. I believe this is Travis's lawyer, if it's Christine.
Thank you. I'm going to take some water real quick.
Now, for us, this someone who is a man about 2.5 times.
Cross means invalid,
Correct.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, there's mostly one who's in fact punched, cut by Detroit Cardinals.
Not mostly, it was all about the same amount of time. It was all very briefly, up 3 times.
And that you saw that individual go downstairs.
Yes.
And that Dory went down second after that person.
Well, that individual came back up the stairs, went down once, and he came back up.
Second.
My brother was still upstairs. Then
Second.
he both went down.
The second man went downstairs, then came back up. And then they both went down.
After the first one went down, the other one went down the first time.
All right, so I just want to make sure I understand. So you're saying that the other person who's not Detroit
Yes.
went downstairs.
Yes. And
He came back up.
back up and went after Roger.
Okay.
And then he was on the platform. He was lost in himself. On the platform after nothing had come up. I know it's confusing, but I understood that other person might have been tucked in, like his back was coming out, and he came up behind him.
All right, did you see the person who made the statement, I think we killed him?
No, I did not see that. I just heard it.
So you don't know
She did not see the person.
It was even a third person.
They're saying, so was it a third person that made it?
No, I'm sorry, no, it was, I don't know anything about a third person.
There were only 2 people,
Can you
she's
say
saying.
with certainty that it's the second person who said, I think we killed him?
No.
So it could have been the second person that you've seen before.
Yes.
Or it could have possibly been someone else.
Correct.
Okay, so it could have been somebody else that said, I think we killed him. She can't say for certain that it was the second man that said, I think we killed him. It wasn't Rory. She knows it wasn't Rory. She says the voice was not Tyrone's. So Mr. Tucker.
Now, you indicated that you were familiar with Tyrone at the time of this incident.
Yes.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
And that you had met him between 5 to 6 times.
Yes.
And that you were familiar with his voice.
Yes.
And that you're 100% sure that this voice that you heard is not
Tyrone's. Correct.
100% sure this voice she heard was not Tyrone Tucker's. It was also not Rory's.
Do you know if the person was manipulating their voice?
That didn't sound like it, no.
Didn't sound like they were manipulating their voice. Like talking
And you
in
said
another
that
voice.
the body type seemed different than the person you saw. Why is that?
You're not making sense.
She says you're not making sense.
Why is Tyrone Tucker's body different than the second person that you saw upstairs?
Why is Tyrone's body type different than the second person you saw upstairs? How would you describe his build?
Not as big as Rory's.
Not as big as Rory. Not as broad on the shoulders.
But not as big as Rory.
Not as big as Rory.
And he seems more stuffier than the person that I can't identify.
What do you mean by stuffier?
Just more weight. More stuffier. Not fat, but more weight. I'll try to put the person I can identify. To make that clear.
I don't think it was televised, Vicky.
And you had to guess as to the height and weight of Mr. Tucker. What would you guess?
I didn't do good at that. All I can tell you is smaller than Detroit.
All she can say is that Tucker is smaller than Rory. DMB, they did know each other. Tucker had been to the Treehouse downstairs previously. They had seen each other a handful of times, saying hello, things like that. They'd bumped into each other at Burger King before, and they bumped into each other 3 or 4 days after the murder at McDonald's. She just showed up and Tucker was there.
Now, after this occurred, have you been in contact with Mr. Tucker and his wife, Ms. Janae?
Not Mr. Tucker, but Lauren, yes. We Facebook.
She has been in touch with Tucker's wife.
Prior to this incident that you remember?
She didn't know Lauren prior to this.
Just because I believe in Tyrone's innocence.
She knows Lauren through Tyrone.
How frequently do you speak with her?
I don't know, sometimes it'll be trying messages back and forth a day, and then other times when we don't Facebook at all. I'm actually speaking with her. It's Facebook and Messenger.
We're talking about the relationship that she has with Lauren now, which is Tyrone's wife.
Have you discussed the case with her?
Yes. Well, texting. Discussing. I don't know if I can keep elaborating that.
They texted about the case with each other.
Have those discussions influenced your opinion as to what happened?
No. As a matter of fact, there was a time or two where I asked a question and she told me she was afraid to answer and wouldn't answer because she didn't want anything. And I said, okay, because I don't want anything to mess anything up either.
Now, you had testified before that there were some things that you had seen after this occurred, something about corruption website.
Yes.
Is that on a website related to Mr. Tucker's job?
On the Free Franklin Tucker. I believe it came up under that. Not 100% sure. It comes up as corruption. I don't think it's Lauren. I think no, it's not Lauren. It came up under the lady, that cop lady that got fired.
Talk about
Penny lady.
the penny lady, the cop lady that got fired. There's some corruption things that she's seen after this.
Where they have her on YouTube.
Under Free Franklin Tucker's?
No, under Penny Phelps.
Penny Phelps.
Have you been to the Free Franklin Tucker YouTube page?
Yes.
Yes, she's been to the Free Franklin Tucker YouTube page.
And if you get to the Free Franklin Tucker webpage,
It's the same thing.
well, YouTube page versus the
Oh,
webpage.
yes, yes.
And if you get to the Free Franklin Tucker Facebook page,
I'm going to say yes because to me that's all the same thing. The web page versus the Facebook page is the same thing, correct?
She says she's been to all the pages, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Free Franklin Tucker social media pages. She's familiar with them, has viewed
and you're saying that
content.
having watched those videos or having read anything on there has not influenced your decision at all?
No, it's only reiterating what I always felt.
And nothing she's seen on there has changed her opinion at all. El Diamonds, welcome to the gallery. Thank you, my friend. Make sure you take a seat by typing !seat. We reserve seats for members.
Now, you're saying that this video where she saw this person that was very close, that was similar to the person that attacked you, the second person, that was a video that had been posted pertaining to this particular case.
Repeat that.
So the video that you saw,
Which video?
with the person that you said was fighting the second person, that was a video pertaining to this particular case.
Yes, it's not actually a video, it's a still picture. Yeah, it's right as the video comes along.
They're talking about a specific video that was shown on the website. It's like a picture with voice or something behind it. This audio is getting a little bit better. We're able to tune it in a tiny bit. Expect about half an hour more of this before we wrap up for lunch.
It is other questions.
Does that mean we're done?
Today's Monday, September 28, 2020. The time is 1:54 p.m.
That's the recorder is now basically audibly time-stamping the video to say they're done with that video. Now, there are more videos. Vince Clortho, when was this depot and where with who was she at? This was 2020, I believe. So 3 years after the event. This was, you've got multiple defendants present. So you've got lawyers there for Mr. Tucker.
Okay,
you've got lawyers there for Rory.
Defendant's presentation of this particular
and you've also got
position to perpetuate.
Lawyers there for Travis.
However, there are other portions, and I believe the state wants to publish some of those.
Yes, sir, we do. We just need a quick minute to set up, and we'll be able to.
Okay. I'd like me to excuse the jurors.
Yes, Judge, give us just 5 minutes.
All right.
We get a 5-minute break. Judge prefers 10 minutes. So now the state is going to play some depot portion. It's interesting that they broke it up this way instead of just presenting it all in one recording as we're used to seeing in a criminal trial. But we're going to hear what they play. This is going to be the same defendant or same witness, still Paula, on the stand. But now this is a portion that the state says, but you should hear this side. So this is the cross-examination portion. And this is what makes it legal for the judge to admit Paula's testimony into evidence.
Two things. While Mr. Alvarez gets that moved up, I do believe the defendant's portion needs to be moved into evidence because that's going to be needs to go with the court file, right? The video they just watched.
I thought we weren't moving them into evidence, Your Honor.
The jurors are gone. My, again, understanding of procedures, it doesn't get moved into evidence. It's just the testimony. The actual video doesn't, in my understanding. So, you need a few minutes here?
Yes, sir, please.
All right. Let me know when they're ready.
Mickey, that's definitely a possibility that there only being two. That would definitely, if the more people that testify there were only two, that would definitely help Mr. Tucker if there were only two, if it was just Travis and Rory. I don't know. I still think there's something weird about this. Let's see, Welsh lady, did my email reach you? So what do you think? Is that, you sent me a long email, right? You sent me a long email with a breakdown of, let me see. I'll pull this up. I read the entire thing. You made a great breakdown of all this. Very good points all throughout. I'm not ready to respond point by point to them. But you put a ton of thought into this one. Welsh lady, thank you. I may be able to respond. There's a lot in there. I mean, it scrolls like this. It goes, yeah, there's a huge long email there. So thank you. A lot of reading material for me. Let's see, a novel, yes. Break it down into chapters for those of us that are that struggle. Let's see. So we've got a quick break here. While we're at break, let's see. What should we do on break? How about we jump over here? Hey, look, we're up to $208,596,405, $406, and counting. What is this? Well, this is Jay Hatch's bill. Jay Hatch's bill to the Kowalskis. Why does it keep going up? Because the judge has entered the judgment, meaning the final amount, which it came out to like almost 212 million or something, minus what he reduced it by a little bit with remediator, and then minus the setback for the settlement. It's counting up, and it counts up by about roughly $57,000 a day in interest. So that is happening. I'm gonna set this up on a live stream, probably to just play in a circle. We'll see. Anyway, let's see. Let's go back here. Where are we? Let's see. I got the same math, about 69 cents a second. It's when you break it down by a second, it seems cheap, but those seconds add up really fast. And $57,000 a day. No, that's no small amount of money. That's how much I spent having 3 kids. Julie, I hear you. I have 6. So it's crazy. No, that's more money than I've ever made in my life, and probably ever will. So unless the lottery has a ticket with my name on it somewhere that I have not bought and somehow will receive, that's more than I'll ever see. Does Donna Adelson have a hearing today? I think so. Let's see, who else has a hearing? I think we've got... Aren't we starting like the Crumbly Parents? Doesn't that start tomorrow? I think Crumbly Parents starts tomorrow, which we might be picking up. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Let's see. Yes, I've received a ton of articles. I think about 15 people sent me that blue paper article. I've received a ton of information on here. I'm trying to limit what we discuss regarding this case to those things that are presented to the jury, because I think it's important to look at a case from the perspective as a juror. And even though there's some very interesting stuff that happens outside, and sometimes things like how can you cut this part out? We have rules of law, we have rules of evidence, and hearsay can't be brought in. It has to be testified to in court, and that testimony is what the jury bases their decision on. So we try to do that. So a lot of the stuff that's out there, the information, as salacious and interesting as it is, the jury will never hear. before they deliberate. Yes, Crumbly. Jennifer Crumbly stands trial this week. Jury selection begins tomorrow. Looks like we're coming back to court. Just a second here.
Thank you, Judge. We are ready. We are booted up to where we want to start the tape.
Okay. Let's bring. Yes, sir.
Considering it's my witness, shouldn't I be able to have it play out just like I played mine?
Excuse me?
Play it in full as opposed to cutting up just to the redirect?
No.
Okay.
That's not how it works.
I thought you, I'm trying to be clear here, Your Honor. I thought this morning you said that, if there's anything of evidentiary value, it doesn't matter which lawyer it is.
Right.
You just play it from wherever it is.
Right.
Okay. Well.
And so that's what we're doing.
Okay, but again, that would skip about half of the tape.
And that's okay too.
Just so the record is clear, we had this entire video in its entirety. The direct examination, there was 3 crosses. Mr. Tucker wanted to play the direct first, and then the cross of Mr. Bobby that pertains to him. We just wanted to all play. Now we're just going to play the other piece that was not played.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. That's my. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I misunderstood.
It's all right. I mean, but again, the deposition to perpetuate isn't like it's etched in stone in terms of everybody has to play everything. The advocates can decide what they're going to present on direct. They can decide what they're going to present on cross. There can be, so that's how the procedure works. So in any event, we're going to bring the jurors back.
Okay, so we should hear, this should be all new information. I imagine it's going to be probably less than half an hour or so of total testimony. But this is going to be cross. So let's see what's in here that the state found, beneficial for their case. Yeah, I've seen it. It's behind a paywall, Stevie.
All jurors present in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Please be seated, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience, members of the jury. We're continuing with the deposition to perpetuate of Ms. Belmont, and the state's going to present those portions that they'd like to for their basic cross-examination in terms of wanting to divide it up between trial testimony, direct, and cross.
This is the clerk with the timestamp.
Good morning, Ms. Belmont.
Good morning, how are you? It's Belmont. How are you?
Good morning, my name is Samuel. I represent Contract Johnson. Just have a question for you. Do you know Contract Johnson?
No, not personally, no.
Okay, prior to the Davis incident, you never had ever associated with?
No. So, no, sir.
Have you ever met Contract Johnson?
Do you know Travis Johnson? No.
I don't know how to answer that because he might have been the person that was there in Detroit, but I don't know for sure. Other than that, the only time I ever saw him was in the newspaper and...
Travis might have been the person that was there with Detroit.
When you say anybody was thinking it's like a person, that's just guessing.
No, this was in the daytime.
Okay.
Someone showed up with Detroit, but I can't say for sure. So I don't know how to answer that. I don't want to lie and say yes, I don't want to lie and say no.
Have you ever identified Travis Johnson?
No, sir. No.
Never identified Travis Johnson.
Have you ever seen Travis Johnson with Matthew Bond?
No, sir.
Yeah, have you ever seen him with Have you ever seen anything like Crystal?
No, sir.
Have you ever seen him with
No, sir.
Have you ever seen Charles
never seen Travis Johnson anywhere.
Treehouse where you knew it was him?
No, sir.
She's never seen him before and known it was him.
Today is Monday, September 28, 2020. The time is 11:22 a.m. We are in off the record.
Now we're off the record, and now they've got a new piece.
September 28, 2020. The time is 11:22 a.m. We are back on the record.
Good morning. Good morning, Ms. Belmont. My name is Anya Gomez-Malata. I represent Rory Wilson. I'd like to ask you a few questions this morning.
Rory's on the screen here. You can see her
Let
response.
me start with, you, at the very beginning of Ms. Boyce's direct examination, you said they came looking. Who do you mean they? Who are the they? How many people were they?
It was two people, and I already said I don't know who they were. It was whoever Detroit brought with him.
You one person you knew?
Yes, ma'am.
And the other person you did not?
Correct.
The other person, was he black or white?
White.
It was a white man. Approximately how old was the white man?
Maybe, I don't know, 30, 35, 40. I'm no good at guessing.
Well, could it have been a 60-ish man?
No. Somewhere between 30 and 50.
I'm sorry?
The second person was between 30 and 50.
Okay. All right. And I would think that these two people, one of whom you know and one of whom you don't, came over to you. What was the first thing that happened?
They came up the stairs and asked. They came up the stairs and Detroit asked for drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Crack.
Did he specifically say crack?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure.
Why would he be looking for drugs for you?
Ask him.
Ask him.
Well, I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Speculation.
Well, she knows. Why would she let somebody come in?
Same person that came looking at for pot from Matthew. Who knows?
Well, let me ask you this way. Are you a drug dealer?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
No, she's
Were you
not.
ever a drug dealer?
No. I may have gotten some for some people, but that's a baby drug dealer.
So you did sell drugs?
I bought drugs for people if they were looking for some.
You never sold anybody any drugs?
I just said yes. I'm not going to take
How many times?
I don't know. 5, 10? I don't know.
When was the last time you sold drugs?
Who knows? Somewhere in the 2017.
When was the last time you sold drugs? In December of 2017?
I said sometime in 2017. She cannot keep making me repeat myself, and I got to talk loud because I'm going to lose my breath. Is all I'm going to say. So you need to do something with the noise.
What kind of drugs was that you sold in 2017?
Crack cocaine.
Okay. And did you do that during 2011 as well?
I don't recall.
What kind of work were you doing in 2011?
I don't recall. 9 years ago.
Did you ever work as a confidential informant?
I'm not answering that question. I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
Well, I think that's just my question to you last
That has nothing to do with this case. I'm not answering that question.
Speak on object Rollins.
Well, were you an informer in approximately 3,000 cases for the police?
I'm not answering that question. It's got nothing to do with this.
Well, to you,
Whether I was or wasn't, I'm not. It has nothing to do with this case, and I'm going to answer the question, and I'm not saying it again.
Were you an informant?
Christine, you're objecting to the form, is that correct?
We're objecting to the question on the basis of relevance.
Okay.
Objection on relevance. She's refused to answer questions about whether she was an informant.
Are you saying it was let me ask you this. Were Gwen and Roosevelt Washington present at the Treehouse on the day of the incident?
The day of the incident, yes.
Todd Quinn and Roosevelt Washington both were present at the Treehouse, is that correct?
Yes.
What part of the Treehouse were they in while this action, this alleged robbery transpired?
I beg your pardon, it's not an alleged robbery, and I don't know because I was upstairs getting my neck cut.
But you know that they were in the Treehouse somewhere, right?
No, I couldn't do that for a fact.
Well, that's why I asked you, were Todd Quinn and Roosevelt Washington present at the Treehouse at the time of the incident?
No, you asked me if they were there during that day. I don't know if they were there during the incident.
Okay. You say Detroit came up, you criticized against your dad and said, give it to me or I'll kill you?
That's right.
What was he referring to?
At one point he said, money, give me your purse. Give it to me, give me your purse. Like that.
Have you ever discussed this event with anybody with police officers?
Of course. I'm discussing it with you right now. What kind of question is that?
She's so hostile.
Did you ever tell Robert Mendes that you...
I don't know that person. And I don't know he says he knows me, but I don't really know him.
I didn't get any of them.
Excuse me, I didn't get the question.
Okay. The question is, did you ever tell Robert Mendes that he explained himself that whole robbery?
Objection, Officer. Improper.
Well, if she told him, she told him. She didn't.
Do I have to answer this? I can answer my right to answer your questions.
Do you in fact think Anna DXA set up the robbery?
Yeah, yes, I do.
With whom did she set it up? Who did she send in here?
I can't answer that question. Possibly the people in the air who got my neck.
Why would Anna DXA set up a robbery?
Objection, false speculation.
Do you know Anna DXA?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever heard her off?
No, ma'am.
Has there ever been a time when you failed to deliver her money or drugs that was...
Ma'am, you know what? The board doesn't have any money, okay? I've got no issues with her owing her any money. Why don't you try it the other way around?
She had no beef with her whatsoever.
I can't stand a woman. How's that?
Can't stand April. Can't stand the woman.
That tells it. How did you meet Mary Wilson anyway?
On the vehicle, I brought him to the treehouse.
Why did she bring him to the treehouse? What happened there?
Anthony Clay is let me say this. Anthony Clay is a whore, and she picks up men and brings them home to the treehouse. She brought a bunch of men.
Whoa.
Okay, for what purpose?
To have sex for money. I don't know, I wasn't in the room.
Was there a prostitution ring being run out of the treehouse?
She went crazy in the mind.
But she just said that Anthony Clay brought men to the treehouse to have sex. I'm just asking the logical question. Was there a prostitution ring being run out of the treehouse?
I believe there's a difference between a woman who picks up men and a prostitution ring.
I didn't get that.
Why can't you hear? I'm asking this woman. I don't know if there's a prostitution ring. Just because a woman picks someone up and brings them home doesn't mean it's a prostitution ring. Did you hear that?
She brought a bunch of men. Did you say she brought a bunch of men?
Yes.
Was it for the purpose of having sex with her or with other people?
Objection, false speculation. Objection Robles. Why can't you stand in and see his leg? Objection Robles. It's relevant because she's claimed that I have the place that it was robbery and that she hates her. So I want to know why she hates her.
I don't like Anthony's life. I don't like you. I'm going to answer that question. How's that?
Is it because you don't want to be lying on the stand?
I'm not lying about anything. I'm getting a little agitated because I'm losing my touch. I don't have to answer question after question after question.
Do you need a break, huh?
I need to not answer some questions over and over again. Okay, my voice started around this.
Are you afraid to answer questions that might incriminate you?
Lady, you know what? I'm tired of wasting my breath with you. Okay? Very hard for me to breathe. You're asking stupid questions. It's got nothing to do with me lying. It's got you letting me lose my breath. Is that a good enough answer for you?
State's going to request a break.
State request a break.
Are we taking a break? We are.
I'm not doing this. Because I'm only using the rights of possible. I'm not doing this.
Today's Monday, September 28, 2020. The time is...
I'm sorry, I'm not doing this.
11:23.
She's done.
Today's Monday, September
Now she's back.
28, 2020.
They read off the record, now they're back on the record.
11:49 a.m. We are back on the record.
Shall I continue with my examination? Yes. Okay. Ma'am, who lived on the top floor of the Treehouse?
I did.
And anybody else?
No.
Not Tucker, not Johnson?
No.
Nobody else?
Nobody else lived in the top floor of the treehouse. No.
She lived in the top floor of the treehouse. Nobody else did.
Did Mr. Tucker or Mr. Johnson live there? And the other floor?
No.
Okay. Isn't it true that what you have against Mr. Wilson is that you wanted to be selling drugs there and he didn't want you selling drugs around his pregnant girlfriend?
No, ma'am.
You didn't want to sell drugs or his girlfriend wasn't pregnant?
Ma'am, I don't even know his girlfriend.
But you weren't selling drugs at any time during 2017, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
She was selling drugs during 2017.
And isn't it true that Wilson wanted to sell her that where he lived with his girlfriend who was pregnant?
Pardon?
Isn't it true that Rory Wilson does not want you selling your drugs at a place where he also lived with his pregnant girlfriend?
No.
Something about a girlfriend being pregnant.
He never told you to stop selling drugs or get out?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were you still a police snitch in 2017?
No, ma'am.
The question is, were you still a police snitch in 2017?
Were you still a police snitch in 2017? Objection.
I'm not here to answer.
If you say objection.
Do I have to answer?
Okay, I'm going to see the fifth.
She says she was.
Because I'm pleading the fifth.
Oh, she's pleading the
Yeah,
fifth.
that's what the fifth is, but you refuse to answer on the grounds of responsibility of criminality.
Objection argumentative, not a question.
So you, okay.
She's pleading the fifth.
Let's talk about the backpack. You said there was a backpack involved at the time of this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Who had the backpack?
I did. That's mine.
It was my backpack.
Your backpack. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who took it from you?
The other person.
Not Rory.
No, ma'am.
The white guy.
Rory didn't. The second man took the backpack from her.
That was a black guy because he was wearing a white. And the short was a white guy. I don't know where he took it. I know it was not Rory Wilson.
Do you think there are regulations as to what kind of clothing black people may wear? Objection, argumentative. It's a question. Are there, do you know what regulations make it?
The person was dressed in all black. I think it's not sad. Perhaps I was in shock. The person was all black.
Person was all black. Perhaps I was in shock. She couldn't say that it was a white or black guy that night. The second man.
Do you know whether he was a good male?
No, ma'am.
Could have been a woman?
Could have been.
Was it a woman? Could have been.
Okay, please. Were you high at the time of this incident?
Were you high at this time? No.
I didn't hear the answer.
You heard my answer.
You heard my answer.
Were you high at the time of the incident?
No.
You were not high.
Ask the answer.
Have you taken any drugs that day at all?
No, ma'am.
With all your health issues, and I went back and you took a lot of medication for your health issues, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. We've been through this already.
Have you been told not to do any illegal drugs?
I don't do any illegal drugs. I don't do any illegal drugs.
Is that because you can't because of all the medication?
And because I don't know
She's clean. She didn't do any illegal
I
drugs.
I will do any drugs because of my choice.
Not because I told you you better not do it and that's not because of all the actual medication.
Paula's really upset that this lawyer is
Ms. Rose
making
Malone,
her.
she had originally stated that she does not do any drugs because she is clean.
Thank you, ma'am.
But now her lawyer repeats the statement. Paula will not answer the question again.
Were there any drugs in your backpack when the other guy took it? Okay. Now, at what point did Mr. Bonnet enter the scene?
After I was 2 weeks ago.
And what did you actually see him do?
Coming up the stairs.
And when did he get to the landing?
He got to the landing.
And what happened when you reached the landing?
Then he was attacked.
By whom?
Roy Wilson and the other person.
Both of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you actually see who stabbed Mr. Bonnet?
No.
Did you actually see who stabbed Matt? No.
One moment, please.
The mic that's making this recording is not the mic that she's speaking into. She's speaking to a courtroom microphone that plays the sound in the courtroom, and then we have another microphone picking up that sound. It's the worst ever. Audio nightmare.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Paula's glad. Okay, now the reason why she's set off here, let me just say, the reason why she's so set off, the lawyer that's asking the questions is sharing the Zoom screen with her client, who is Rory. This woman hates Rory, so she's looking at Rory answering these questions.
Do you know if they were on the downstairs?
No, I can't say for sure.
Did Mr. O'Quinn ever make it up to the top of the Treehouse after the attack?
No.
Did Roosevelt watch?
No.
So you mentioned that you seen him both earlier in the day, but after the attack, you did not see him again.
I believe when I saw Todd outside next to me on the I'm not really sure because it's been so long and so confusing. But I know Todd and I made it to the top of the stairs. I did not see him whatsoever.
All right, so you're testifying that you may have seen Todd after discussion of this Treehouse, if you know where Rory Wilson lived at his time.
He didn't live in the treehouse.
So you know where he did live?
Rory did not live in the treehouse. He lived in the warehouse.
And do you know where that warehouse was specifically located?
Not specifically, no.
Do you know who had a girlfriend?
No. Oh, no, I might have. I waited for her. Maybe the street had a baby.
You ever had any interactions with her?
No.
Do you know her name?
Only from reading it.
So now we've come up with
Now I know her name, yes.
You never knew her name.
Don't know him.
This is one of the Aprils, I believe.
One second. Now, we indicated that you weren't too sure if the other individual before Wilson wasn't going to work female because you never saw one of their Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Now, do you ever hear that second person speak?
Oh, then I'm lying. Yes, I did hear the second person speak.
And what
That was a male's voice, so yes, I can actually connect to a male's voice. Sorry.
And when did you hear that male speak?
I think the children.
And at what point was that?
After I heard the tussle.
Now, did you see the person who said that voice at that time?
No.
Did you recognize the voice?
No, not at all.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Today's Monday, September 28, 2020. The time is 12 p.m. We are going off the record.
Okay.
So is this a good breaking?
Judge, actually, the state is that we've completed the presentation of what we wanted to show.
Cross-examination.
So let's approach the bench then.
So now they're approaching to discuss not this testimony, but what comes next, specifically with more witnesses, because this means that cross-examination is done. There's no redirect this in a deposition. You play it initially, and then they play their cross, and then you're done. So now Mr. Tucker has to explain to the judge if he has a witness or what they're going to do for the rest of the day, because here we are at lunchtime. And the jury's here. I mean, they can't work. They've got the day off work. So it's one thing to let them go and say, hey, good, you get the day off. But at the same time, they're not earning money. So we'll see. Where's the audio here?
Moment or two out of your presence, so shouldn't take long, but I would ask you to go on the jury room, please.
Yeah, the hostile part of Paula's testimony was when she was being questioned by Rory's attorney. Rory, who we know from Paula's description, was sitting next to her attorney, and they were sharing a frame on Zoom. So when she's looking at the attorney, which is why she would not look, she was looking down for a lot of. She didn't want to look at Rory, and obviously the questioning was to make her look bad.
All right, the jurors are gone, so that completes the deposition. Perpetuate for Ms. Belmont. So, Mr. Tucker, do you have other witnesses, evidence lined up for the rest of the day?
But I do need to defer to the court for some advice on at least a couple of witnesses. I do have Todd O'Quinn lined up as a witness, but as far as scheduling, he is either coming from prison, or if Your Honor would like to try another Zoom, we can try that. I don't know whether or not you would want to do that. Prison. If he's coming from prison, I'm not exactly sure where the prison is located, so I can't tell you how long it would take him to get here. The other one is Seth LeVay.
Seth LeVay, Todd O'Quinn.
Discussed.
Seth LeVay was the attorney.
He would rather not come down here, all the way down here, for 10 minutes worth of testimony. But if he needs to, then we'll have to bring him down here. I'm just looking. I don't know, Your Honor. His whole purpose of coming here is to identify a few documents.
Okay, well, in terms of scheduling, on Friday afternoon, when I asked, you indicated that Mr. LeVay was going to be presented today. So what happened?
That was one of my cancellations, Your Honor, because he actually hadn't actually gotten the subpoena, is what he told me, and I was like, well, we need you to come down. He said he can't come down. I was like, okay. And because it's such a small chunk of time, and I was going to have to reschedule him anyway, I figured I'd defer to Your Honor as to whether or not we need to bring him down at all.
And then who was the other one? Tom? Was
Todd
it?
O'Quinn.
No, not Todd O'Quinn. Walker.
Walker's actually scheduled for tomorrow, Your Honor, 9 o'clock. I rescheduled him for tomorrow.
So,
Judge is mad.
But, Your Honor, if I may,
yes, sir.
Part of my scheduling problem is also because we went over a little bit with the state's case, and my subpoenas started to run out, so I actually had to reissue the subpoenas, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's a little bit more of a process for me, that's all.
The long and the short of it is, for the rest of the day, you don't have anything to...
No, Your Honor. I had planned on it, but no, I don't.
State want to...
I think the court, we don't need to leave the jury waiting. I guess we might as well send them home, but there are some other things I think that we need the court to get involved in.
Okay, so I guess explain to the jurors there's no other evidence available or nothing else for their presentation or presenting to them today, so I would tell them to come, 9:15 tomorrow?
Actually, actually 9:15, yeah, we'll have Tom Walker at 9. That'll work out.
Okay, so then wait, one more thing. I think we have to return this afternoon, we being the state and the defense and the judge, because
we'll be back.
There's some issues that we apparently need to address. So what, it's like 1:45?
That sounds fine.
Okay, let's bring him in.
Bringing the jury back. The jury's going to be released. We're going to be back with the judge. We're going to be fighting over what can be admitted, I think, because Mr. Tucker's going to try to admit some evidence specifically with Seth that the defense thinks should not be coming in. They're going to be fighting against this. Yes, we need to update this. I'm going to go ahead and move this up one more, which is good to get off this number. Ivan. The judge was educating him a little bit about how this works. Mr. Tucker saying I need to defer to the court for some advice on what to do.
All jurors present in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated, members of the jury. Welcome back to the courtroom. Thank you for your attendance here today, your attention, your patience, your flexibility. We appreciate it very much. There's no more evidence that's going to be presented to you today. Sorry, the fact of the matter is logistic concerns once again become a factor. And I won't go into all the details, but I may sound like a broken record. I'm sorry, but the big picture is we remain on schedule. Yes, certainly the last thing I want to do is waste your time, but I also do want to be sure we accommodate all the logistical concerns. We're on schedule, the big picture, so you can do whatever you would otherwise be doing today for the rest of the day, 9:15 tomorrow, and abide by the court's cautionary instructions, and have a good rest of the day.
Jury gets the afternoon off. We'll still be doing a little bit of work for a little while. I don't imagine it's a full day, but it's going to be after the lunch break, I believe. Karate Cat Mom, yes, you missed a boom. The end of Paula's testimony got very spicy in the deposition, where at one point she was refusing to participate. They took several breaks. She was questioned, but she was being questioned by Rory's attorney.
So we'll come back at 1:45 and we'll address this issue as to Mr. LeVay, Mr. O'Quinn, and goodness knows what else. But we'll see you after lunch at 1:45.
Thank you.
Yep. Judge is off the bench, 1:45, so we have an hour and 15 minutes. Just a quick recap on this. Friday we had live testimony from Paula. At least it was live direct testimony from Paula. She was answering questions presented to her by Mr. Tucker. It was difficult. Paula had a difficult time hearing, and because of the communication problem, she'd be asked a question and she'd go on a narrative type answer, and it was difficult for Mr. Tucker or anyone else to interrupt her because Mr. Tucker had the only microphone that would reach Paula on the other end on the Zoom connection. So any objections the other side made, she couldn't hear. Any interjections offered by the judge, she also couldn't hear. And she herself struggled hearing Mr. Tucker. So it was a difficult scenario. It was difficult to hear. Obviously, her health has decreased. Her health is not as good as it was when she had her deposition, and that made it difficult as well. So all sorts of difficulties. We did get testimony of her yesterday, but at the end of the testimony, she was asked by Mr. Tucker in a question he presented 3 times before he got the answer he was looking for. The first time she said no. The second time he was cut off by the judge. The third time she responded that she was on drugs that would impact her ability to be questioned live. And because of that, they said, let's never mind, let's just use the depot. The state says, hey, we object to all this testimony because we weren't able to cross the witness. If we can't cross the witness's testimony we heard today, we need to strike the whole thing. And the judge ordered that all of it be stricken. The jury is to disregard everything that happened on Friday. Then we start today with a deposition. Mr. Tucker played the parts that he wanted to play. The state played the parts they wanted to play. It was, I would say story-wise, it was very consistent with what we heard for the most part on Friday. There might be 1 or 2 very small differences. I can't recall what they are off the top of my head, but very consistent. But on the cross-examination portion, the part the state wanted to play, we had a very spicy and heated reaction by Paula as she was being questioned by her accusers or her attacker's lawyer, with him on the screen there in front of her. And she was not putting up with it because they really were not focused on the fact that she was a victim of a crime, but rather wanted to out her as a possible informant for the police, label her as a drug dealer, possibly implicate her in a prostitution ring. The questions were quite pointed, and she was having none of it. So yes, there were times that she covered up the mic that she thought was the one that went to the Zoom participant. There were also times that she yelled into the mic the answer and would not repeat her questions. Even at one point at the end, her lawyer had to repeat her answer to the lady on Zoom. If you missed that, yes, you need to go back and see that. It's quite informative. All right, so now that this has happened, Mr. Tucker has some more witnesses lined up. Specifically, there's one from jail, and I believe an informant that was used in jail, and he's bringing this witness in, if my understanding is correct, to show that the state tried to set him up with an informant in the same cell as him or something. I'm not sure how this will be beneficial or if this will even be allowed. But either way, the defendant's going to be brought in here from prison, transported to the jail to testify, and I'm guessing it will probably be objected to and thrown out. Then we also have Seth, who I believe is an attorney for Travis. Seth, I believe, if I got my facts right on this one, Seth is trying to authenticate documents that would indicate that Travis filed a motion through Seth, or that Seth filed a motion for Travis, trying to get his testimony thrown out, saying it was the testimony that was used against Mr. Tucker was obtained under coercion. And then you've got the whole deal that after the fact, Travis signs a deal with the state, and has to stand by that story to get his part of the deal, but he's still trying to get the testimony thrown out. It's bizarre. It's crazy. It's convoluted, but all that is still coming up. We're going to have to court hop this afternoon. I don't know how long the work that the judge has with the prosecution and defense is going to take. I can't imagine it takes 3 hours. So when we come back at 1:45, I would guess we have less than an hour of the Treehouse trial itself to go over, and then we can court hop the afternoon for the rest of the day. All right. Any other questions or anything else before we go to lunch? Gordon says, there goes my courthouse. Out in the cold again. Out in the cold. Well, you should head down to Florida. Apparently it's hot in Key West right now. 71 degrees and maybe humid. Let's see. Judge needs Stevens hot cocoa. Still hasn't proven guilt. I agree. The state has not proven guilt. The more we hear, there's so much testimony that this is bizarre. This is crazy. Something is going on here that we're not hearing about, but I just don't see Travis as credible in my eyes. I don't see his testimony as credible, and it's hard for me to convict or to vote to convict, even on a poll here on YouTube, to convict Mr. Tucker based on that testimony and by that testimony alone. Did I hear them say Paula was an informant? They sure accused her of that. She pleaded the fifth in response to that. Now, my understanding, that's not how it works. I don't believe you can plead the fifth to something that is not a crime, that would not implicate you in a crime, but that's what she did. She's refusing to answer these questions. Usually you'd say, did you commit this crime? You say, I plead the fifth. Or were you involved in this? Here she's pleading the fifth to being a police informant, which is not a crime. Although, I guess it's considered a crime in the underworld. Let's see. Rory Wilson will not say anything because he's also appealing based on evidence handling, so he's not going to be able to testify. Let's see. Burden hasn't been met. This is bizarre. This is really, really crazy. I do have this question in my mind. Why would Mr. Tucker's lawyer, and if this is true, and what I've heard is that at one point Mr. Tucker's lawyer advised him to take the plea deal. And if there is no evidence against him, and if this is so shady and corrupt, why would the lawyer advise you to take a plea deal if any lawyer worth his salt would be able to say, hey, we can get this completely thrown out. This is absurd. Being an informant is only a crime on the streets. It damages your street credibility. Tower Hill Girl says, I honestly think it was Travis Johnson that was the other person involved. Just my intuition kicking in. Definitely Travis seems to be involved. He seems to have enough information about the crime to me. I would believe that he was involved in some way. Why would being an informant matter to her testimony? Rona, I don't think it matters to her testimony. I think what it does is it triggers her and gets her riled up so that her responses show another side of her. But that would go to her credibility, wouldn't it? If she's used as an informant, you'd think that the police at least thinks that she's credible. Let's see. Welsh lady, I said that in my email, not credible. I don't mind, and obviously your call, but if you'd like to share my thoughts, I'm fine with that. Just redact my email address, please. I'm not going to read it directly. It's hard for me to share things off the phone because I get other texts and things in, and that makes it difficult. All right. Single car door sound. Travis is more likely more than getaway drive. Okay. Show me the facts. What about this? What if both doors closed at the same time? Have you ever seen that happen? Because I have. I've seen two people get in the car, and it's acoustically pleasing. Okay, I can say this: when two people get in the car and both doors shut at the same time, the OCD part of me just is grins inside and is happy. It's like, oh, the sound was one. The universe is right today because there was just one sound instead of chunk chunk. It was chunk. I'm like, oh, that was beautiful. That could have happened. One door could have been closed partially. One door could have been kept open. There's lots of options there. Harmonic car doors. They might have all climbed in one door, just all piled in the driver's side and then drove off. or the passenger side. Let's see. There's no way they're that in sync. Odds are it didn't happen that way, but there's a possibility. He says he drove off when he saw Roger fleeing. Or he saw the flashlight or something, right? The other guy that was downstairs. Was that Roger's flashlight? All right, fun stuff, man. I'm glad we didn't miss today. Today was good. If you are just connecting right now, we need to go back. You need to go back and watch it. You might have time this afternoon if you don't want to court hop with us, but incredibly spicy. We're gonna do a quick visit here just to see where J Hatch is up to. It looks like the numbers are just climbing and climbing. Here we've got $208,598,188.89 and $190 right here. So it's going up about $57,000 a day. This is the amount that J Hatch owes the Kowalskis, and this number will keep going until it is paid. Or until a mediation agrees on a lower amount, which is probably more likely. But that's where it is. All right. Does Judge Boyd have a trial? I think she does. We're going to take a lunch. We may come back. I think Judge Boyd started a trial last week, didn't she? She always does this thing where she does court docket in the morning and then trial in the afternoon. I've rarely seen her take a full day in trial. Interest is just by the day. We've done it just by the day, but we've broken down the daily amount by the second. So it's $57,110 or something like that. I'd have to look at the formula, but that's broken. We just divided that by the second and then calculated so it's running total. So yes, it's true that as soon as it hits midnight, and the next day appears, then it would go up by $57,000 at once. But this is just a way to visualize it for the clock. One door closes, another one opens, says Gordon. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna go to lunch. We're gonna come back this afternoon. There's more stuff in the Treehouse trial. We're not done, even though the jury is gone. Some of the spicy battles about evidence and some of the allegations about the improprieties of how the investigation was handled are going to be talked about today in court. So if those are issues that interest you and that you want to see dug into and see how the judge reacts to them being brought up and admitted into court, or at least potentially admitted into court, you don't want to miss that for sure. So. All right, is interest compounding? I didn't come here to math things. Just kidding. I don't remember how this works. We use the formula off the judge's order. We can go back and look at it if you want. But basically, you're asking, does yesterday's interest get added to the amount for the next days? And I don't know. I think it's an annual at 9.09% interest. Might be compounding daily. I think it is compounding daily. I think I'm going to say yes on this one. I can send you to Brandy. That would be awesome. We love Brandy. She is amazing. Let's see what's up here. Brandy, where are you at? Brandy just started the day. She's got some fun stuff going on in her trial as well. Looks like she is live, so we're going to redirect over there. When you go there, please, very important, pay attention to this part. When you land, and I realize it's going to be like in 2 minutes from now, but when you land, click the like button. That's all you ask. Even if you're not going to stay, make the jump, go through the portal, say hi, click the like button, and then if you have to take a lunch like I'm doing, I'm going to be eating my lunch. Then do that. But just it would help Brandy out a ton. We'd like to do that for everybody, just to show that we're nice people. And even if we're not going to watch or aren't interested in the trial they're following, click the like button, give them a thumbs up, because we do appreciate what they collectively add to this LawTube and LawTube adjacent community. Thanks, guys. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone to make that day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again, which will be in 45 minutes, roughly 1:45. We'll see ya.